The Great Lord of the Frost Desolation Abyss was startled by the changes in the level's fundamental laws, and his attention diverted slightly to Enos's position. Most of his soul energy was still within the Abyss passageway and roaming the other Abyss levels. When he started to pay attention to Qianlai, the fundamental laws around Enos changed again. The cold energy which could freeze space immediately grew tenfold. In a flash, Qianlai and Enos were frozen. The destructive flame that came from Qianlai's and spatial power of eight-eyed demon spirit's bloodline was immediately extinguished. Qianlai seemed to be frozen in midair. The power in his bloodline could not be used. The lightning and spirit energy within his spirit sea could not be controlled. At this time, his soul could only employ his frost energy. A wisp of his soul uncontrollably entered the soul-suppressing orb, and into the level where the frost concept diagram floated. When he had gone to the land of frost to cultivate, he had gathered many of the Ice Emperor's remnant thoughts to form this frost concept diagram. It suddenly became active. The threads of ice flashed with icy light and seemed to contain the laws of ice. His frozen body could not move, but cold power flowed through his veins. A thin ice shield formed from the cold power in his body. Suddenly, he could adjust to the extreme cold in the frost desolation abyss, and he could feel the suffocating presence was slowly descending. This powerful presence's owner did not truly come. His frozen bloodline seemed to roar. Whoosh! The flesh-filling tombstone hiding in his spatial ring immediately flew out. The surface of the flesh-filling tombstone flashed with the language of the god race. At this moment, Qianlai could feel the aura of the 8 god generals hiding in the oceans around Flaming Sun Island. In a flash, the refined fleshly energy of the 8 god generals crossed realms and entered the flesh-filling tombstone. The flesh-filling tombstone was immediately filled with vast fleshly energy. His previously frozen bloodline started to boil. He tried his best to open the star door. The star door formed with the 8-eyed demon spirit's bloodline instantly appeared. Without a second thought, he stumbled through. He wanted to go back to where the soul beast was. However, just as he flew towards the star door, a thread of soul energy of the great lord of the abyss descended upon him. A terrifying shadow made from thick abyss devil energy appeared above everyone's heads like a god. The star door Qianlai formed with bloodline power suddenly started to tremble. The door, which should have connected to Baluo realm, had been twisted by another spatial power, reversing their effect. Qianlai, who was holding the flesh-filling tombstone, had already entered the star door. Divine characters furiously appeared on the surface of the flesh-filling tombstone and flew out, akin to fiery meteors. The flesh-filling tombstone affected the direction of the star door with a certain kind of power. A flesh-filling tombstone of the god race. In the sky, the enormous figure of the abyss devil gave off a soul-shaking shout. He seemed to be shocked. There were only 5 flesh-filling tombstones in the entire god race. This was one of the strongest artifacts of the god race. Only the patriarchs of the 5 families qualified to possess a flesh-filling tombstone. Today, this special boy with the Blaze family bloodline took out a flesh-filling tombstone when escaping the Frost Desolation Abyss with a spatial art. He stilled. In that moment, the star door made from Qianlai's bloodline disappeared from the Frost Desolation Abyss. The Abyss Devil figure felt the vibrations from where the star door had disappeared in to try to find where Qianlai had been transported to. It is the Extreme Flame Abyss, the place the Blaze family is fighting in. As the great lord of the abyss pondered, his figure started becoming blurry. The thread of his soul consciousness seemed to be dissipating. His soul came only to investigate Qianlai. After Qianlai slipped away under his eyes, he had no interest in this place. He did not care about those frozen rank 7 and 8 abyss devils, Tang Beidou, or the Azura clansmen. Enos, have you not wanted to explore other abyss levels all this time? Before the figure of the great lord of the abyss disappeared, he ordered his descendant. Go to the abyss passageway immediately. I will arrange some people to take you to the extreme flame abyss and let you see the true battlefield. The boy just went there. See if you can understand his origins from the Blaze family members in the extreme flame abyss. Lords of different abyss levels usually would not abruptly descend to other abyss levels to avoid unnecessary battles. He was the great lord of the Frost Desolation Abyss. If he arranged for some subordinates and descendants to go the extreme flame abyss, it would not cause much trouble. If his true form went towards the extreme flame abyss, the great lords that ruled the extreme flame abyss would think of it as naked provocation. Unless he truly wanted to start a war between two abyss levels, his main body had to avoid going to the extreme flame abyss. Each great lord of the abyss would not welcome other great lords on their level. Great lords of the abyss all had their own abyss levels. They could ignore weak abyss devils crossing over. But if it was someone of the same rank, most of the time it would immediately cause a war. He did not want to fight the great lord of the extreme flame abyss. Hence, when he saw where Xianxia had gone, he could only arrange for his subordinates to go. He abided by the rules and did not go. "Lord Father, I will prepare immediately." Enos excitedly flew away. Just like her father, she had no interest in abyss devils, Tang Beidou, or the Azura clansmen. Going to the other levels of the abyss had been her dream. Seeing it about to be realized, she did not want to waste any time. After Enos left, the projection of the Great Lord formed using abyss devil energy gradually dissipated. The fundamental laws which shrouded this place immediately vanished. The abyss devils, Tang Beidou, and the Azura clansmen who had been frozen by the invisible cold power could move again. They had been frozen by the fundamental laws. They could not move, they could not manipulate their power, and even their eyes could not see. But they could feel that a terrifying figure had been here for a short time. "Retreat to our base." After Tang Beidou returned, he had no interest in battle and shouted at the Azura race experts. The Azura clansmen hurriedly left in terror and anxiousness. They thought of Xianxia as the avatar of their master. They needed to ask their master what happened with Xianxia's disappearance. They hurriedly flew away with Tang Beidou. Tang Beidou and the Azura clansmen flew away from where the abyss devils were fighting and quickly came to a safe clearing. The leading three-level soul altar Azura race expert motioned for everyone to stop. Then he sat on his soul altar and communicated with the soul beast mentally. Underneath Boluo realm, Xianxia's soul beast avatar immediately responded and issued him orders. Tang Beidou looked at the Azura clansmen with confusion. "Master is fine. We do not have to worry. Let's return to our camp," the three-level Azura clansman said. "Master? You call him master?" Tang Beidou said, shocked. He did not know that Xianxia possessed a soul beast avatar, and did not know the relationship between Xianxia and these Azura race martial practitioners. "Yes, he is fine. He just went to another level of the abyss," the three-level soul altar expert explained coldly, and then flew in the direction of Kadak's territory. Tang Beidou was both suspicious and shocked. According to the original plan, he should have went with Xianxia and the fire spirit towards a place in the frost desolation abyss with volcanoes. However, when Xianxia saw that high-rank abyss devil young girl, he put away the fire spirit and then a fierce battle occurred. As of that moment, Xianxia was at another level of the abyss. That young girl with blood of the first devils also disappeared. He hesitated whether he should go find for that volcanic area by himself. The previous battle and the two rank 8 abyss devils created a psychological barrier in his mind. Tang Beidou thought for a moment. To be on the safe side, he followed these Azura clansmen. They returned on the original path. Extreme Flame Abyss. This was an abyss level completely different than the Frost Desolation Abyss. This abyss level was 10 times as hot as Boluo Realm, which had 3 suns. The Extreme Flame Abyss was covered in erupting volcanoes. The sky was dark red and nearly covered in volcanic plumes. Lava flowed on the surface along winding cracks carved in crimson stone. Within those lava flows and deep gullies, abyss devils covered in flame could be seen everywhere. Most of the abyss devils that could survive in the extreme flame abyss could tolerate highest temperatures and did not fear being burned by the hottest of flames. More of the abyss devils had been born from the lava. Their abyss devil bloodlines were usually related to fire. The god race's Blaze family targeted the extreme flame abyss because the flesh of the abyss devils on this level had great benefits to the bloodline of the Blaze family. If the Blaze family members directly consumed the blood and flesh of the abyss devils on this level, their bloodline would grow stronger. Moreover, the flesh and blood of the abyss devils also contained great fleshly energy. At this time, The army of the Blaze family was fighting and hunting the abyss devils of the extreme flame abyss. At a crater where the lava was furiously sprouting out, the lava sprayed into the sky and merged together with the flaming clouds in the dark red sky. Then, it turned into a terrifying rain of blood. The fiery rain carried a scent of sulfur as the magma sprayed into the surroundings. Other than the abyss devils born in the extreme flame abyss, the abyss devils of other levels would be directly melted if they were touched by the magma rain or if their bloodline was weak. Unusually strong spatial vibrations occurred at that erupting volcanic crater. A bright door appeared. Qianlai's figure shot out of the star door like a cannonball. His bloody figure flew towards the dark red sky and then fell down hard. He descended towards the lava pond inside the volcano. Qianlai, his hair as red as blood, activated his bloodline. Just as he was falling into the lava pond, he was covered completely in flame. The flames had merged into one with his body. Splash! His naked body fell heavily into the lava pond and was drowned by the surging lava. In this moment, the lava's fire energy furiously poured into his pores. His Blaze family bloodline became extremely active. Without even thinking, he used the molten blood art and used the wild energy in the lava pond to cultivate his bloodline. Using molten blood art with the rank 7 Blaze family bloodline was the best course of action. This way, the rank 7 bloodline would advance towards rank 8. The cultivation of the molten blood art coincidentally needed the ponds of lava at the center of the strongest volcanoes. One had to be immersed and absorb the hottest lava into their body in order to strengthen their bloodline the fastest. He landed at this place, which was the most suitable for him to cultivate the molten blood art. This place would make his bloodline more powerful. The flames contained in this place were dozens of times wilder and fiercer than the ones in Tongyan's volcano. Due to this, when he landed into the lava pond, he started to use the molten blood art to cultivate his bloodline. He even did not care about which level of the abyss this was. He only knew this was the abyss. Whoosh! As he cultivated, the fire spirit flew out of the soul-suppressing orb. Yi-ya-ya! When the fire spirit appeared, it felt the thick flame aura of that place. It also saw the huge pieces of fire attribute crystals and became excited. The fire spirit found that this place was very suited to it. It could also increase its power better here than the place it had found in the Frost Desolation Abyss. The little fire Qilin-shaped spirit left Qianlai's side and flew to the walls inside the volcano. Those red walls held many crimson crystals which contained pure fire energy. Those were crystals made of pure fire energy. His favorite. As Qianlai cultivated the molten blood art using the flame power in the lava pond, the fire spirit used its bloodline latent ability, flame consumption, to eat those crimson crystals. One youth and one fire spirit cultivated at the bottom of the volcano, each with their own methods. Time passed. Today, 10 god race members with red hair and red eyes were hunting some abyss devils nearby. Ganxing and Yanfeng, who had been with Zhongyi not long ago, were in this group. These two were clearly the leaders of this 10-person squad. This hunting team of the Blaze family had Ganxing as the captain, and Yanfeng as the vice-captain. The two both had rank 7 Blaze family bloodlines. Other than these two other women also had rank 7 bloodlines. The other 6 only had rank 6 bloodlines. The 10-person squad sneaked around. Their target was a herd of Devil Flame Golden Lions. This group of Devil Flame Golden Lions was a commonly seen type of abyss devil in the extreme flame abyss. The Devil Flame Golden Lions were herd animals and were only loyal to those more powerful of their own race. Ganxing and Yanfeng's squad was hunting a group of Devil Flame Golden Lions that consisted of 3 that possessed rank 7 bloodlines, with the rest having only rank 5 and rank 6 bloodlines. They had targeted this group of Devil Flame Golden Lions for many days and had been waiting for a suitable time to attack. Today, this group of Devil Flame Golden Lions were passing nearby, threading through the lava and fire rains in search of something to eat. Ganxing, Yanfeng, and the others slowly gathered. There must be some special fire attribute spirit materials nearby. Otherwise, this group of Devil Flame Golden Lions would not have come here. We should not be in a hurry to attack. Let's see what the Devil Flame Golden Lions are searching for. The captain, Xing was hiding behind an enormous piece of rock. He watched from afar at the group of devil flame golden lions walking through the gullies filled with lava. He said with a smile, "While we possess the blaze bloodline, we cannot live in the extreme flame abyss. We lack sensitivity to many special fire attribute spirit materials here. Only local devils such as the devil flame golden lions can sense them so acutely. Yes, after we find the things, we can kill the devil flame golden lions." The tall and handsome Yen Feng snickered. Then he said to a beautiful woman next to him, "Lu Yang, how about we split a devil flame golden lion later?" That beautiful god race beauty had a head of bright red hair which fell to her hip like a waterfall. She was dressed in crimson battle armor covered in flames and clouds. She wore a short dress. The armor only just covered her chest. Her full-bodied arms, flat stomach, as well as her long legs were all exposed. "Split." The beauty giggled and threw a flirtatious look at Yen Feng. "So frugal? You want to split with me? You cannot give it all to me?" Under her look, Yen Feng seemed affected and said generously, "All right, I will give my share to you." At this time, another young girl who had a more serene presence looked at Xing and smiled, covering her mouth. "Brother Xing, look how generous Yen Feng is. Would you give your share to me?" Xing rubbed his nose and said calmly, "I'm hungry." "Miser," the serene young girl complained. As they spoke, the group of devil flame golden lions continued to advance through the lava streams. The directions the lions were headed was coincidentally the volcano where Xianxia was cultivating. At this time, the volcano was still erupting with flames, the lava spraying out of the crater and flowing in streams down the mountainside. The devil flame golden lions did not show any intentions of resting. They all stared at the erupting volcano with desire in their eyes. The Bantering Blaze family team saw the devil flame golden lions moving away and stopped in order to chase after them. Xianxia, who was immersed in the center of the volcano in the lava pond, did not know anything of the outside world. He had been cultivating for a long time in this place. The fire spirit in the shape of the fire Qilin had consumed almost all of the flame crystals that had formed on the inner walls of the volcano. Xianxia allowed the fire spirit to consume as many flame crystals as it wished while he absorbed the fiery energy inside the lava pond every day with his bloodline to strengthen his bloodline powers. For now, he had decided to set aside what had happened at the Frost Abyss to the back of his mind. After cultivating hard for a period of time, his rank 7 Blaze family bloodline had become charged with wild fiery energy. He could instantly summon countless Blaze divine characters from his bloodline anytime he wished. Sometimes, it even felt like the very blood in his veins had turned into boiling lava and merged as one with the environment. He knew that this cultivation was extremely useful to its bloodline. However, he didn't know that the flame crystals on the volcanic walls were an extremely precious type of flame crystal in Extreme Flame Abyss. He didn't know that a group of devil flame golden lions was heading his way to obtain the crystals. And of course, he didn't know that the group of devil flame golden lions was followed by a 10-man strong god race squad. Xianxia was submerged at the bottom of the pond when he was suddenly awakened from his cultivation. He slowly floated towards the surface of the pond. He looked at the volcano crater above his head. The devil flame golden lions had gotten close enough for him to detect their life presences. "Abyss devils," he muttered to himself. Swoosh! The fire Qilin landed on his shoulder excitedly the moment he appeared. Many soul thoughts were transmitted into his head. Xianxia grinned and petted the fire Qilin's head. He knew that the fire spirit had consumed many flame crystals while he was in cultivation. There were still a couple of flame crystals left on the walls. They were clearly sparkling in red. Unfortunately, he had no idea what name or grade these flame crystals were. He could sense a rich fiery presence from them though. Pooh! The fire Qilin spat out a flame crystal it hadn't consumed entirely. He picked it up from his shoulder and probed it with his power. When he extended a wisp of soul consciousness into the flame crystal, he immediately noticed that a ferocious flame was burning inside it. An incredibly rich and pure fire energy was spilling out of the tiny crystal. However, it wasn't as destructive as the power inside the lava pond. He could absorb pure energy like this, but it wouldn't be the most suitable power for his bloodline. I don't necessarily need this. Qianlai smiled while rubbing the fire Qilin's head. He then pushed the flame crystal back into its mouth. You can have them. The fire spirit cheered before rushing back to the walls to consume even more flame crystals. Qianlai slowly floated up to the surface of the lava pond. The erupting volcano had become less violent than it was before. It was because he had trapped most of the fiery streams at the heart of the volcano with his bloodline. As he flew towards the volcano crater, he used his bloodline power again and worked to suppress the erupting volcano completely. He wanted to make sure that it wouldn't erupt and spill its lava outwards. Gradually, the volcano stopped spouting lava and quieted completely. He peeked out from inside the volcano crater while keeping himself hidden from eyes down. He soon saw a group of devil flame golden lions following a trail of lava streams and climbing to the top of the volcano. It's a group of abyss devils who aren't afraid of lava and fire. Suddenly, his bloodline power throbbed slightly, as if it had detected something. Surprised him. He subconsciously looked towards the distance where a clump of scarlet-red fiery rocks lay. He could sense a strange presence from that direction. This presence. It's the Blaze family bloodline. Once the initial shock had worn off, he immediately suppressed the growing restlessness in his bloodline and slipped back down to the heart of the volcano. Return. The fire spirit immediately stopped feeding and returned to his glabella. I don't think they noticed me yet. Qianlai's face looked a little heavy and serious as he kept himself submerged inside the lava pond. He hadn't expected that he would run into Blaze family members on this abyss level. He had both the Blaze family bloodline and a soul beast avatar. His own soul was extremely powerful. He doubted that those god race clansmen would have something on a level of the soul beast avatar just like him. This meant that their senses weren't as sharp as his. Moreover, he had hidden his bloodline presence at first notice and submerged himself inside the pond. Those god race clansmen shouldn't be able to detect him easily. He sank deeper and deeper towards the bottom of the lava. Qianlai's eyes were wide open. They looked like two blazing suns. It didn't take long for the devil flame golden lions to show up at the volcano crater and descend along the walls. The fire spirit had nearly eaten all of the flame crystals, and the devil flame golden lions were looking at the leftovers. The group of devil flame golden lions growled in communication with one another using the language of the abyss. They were very confused by the scene before them. They had discovered this volcano since a long time ago, and they knew that it naturally produced these flame crystals. Every dozens of years or so, they would come over and devour the newly created flame crystals for themselves. According to their estimation, the volcano should have given birth to a large amount of flame crystals already. There shouldn't be so little flame crystals. The devil flame golden lions were very confused by the anomaly. They didn't know what Qianlai had been doing in the most recent days. Confusion aside, it was their goal to devour the flame crystals. Even if there were far fewer flame crystals that they had initially expected, they weren't going to turn back and wait for another time just like that. Just as the devil flame golden lions were about to consume the remaining flame crystals, the 10-man squad led by Ganxing and Yan Feng sneakily made their way closer. They hadn't attacked immediately because they wanted to figure out the devil flame golden lion's goal first. When the volcano suddenly stopped erupting, and the devil flame golden lions suddenly ventured deep into the volcano, Ganxing and everyone else immediately realized that the volcano was their destination. They grew excited. After confirming that this volcano was the devil flame golden lion's final destination, they stopped being as cautious as they were before. The god race clansmen took to the sky and flew towards the volcano crater swiftly like falling meteors. Since the god race clansmen were no longer concealing their presence, the devil flame golden lions who were busy consuming the flame crystals faster than their own kin were immediately disturbed by their presences. It's the Blaze family's clansmen. 3 rank 7 devil flame golden lions roared and swore loudly in the language of the abyss. When the remaining devil flame golden lions who were busy eating the flame crystals heard their leader's roars, they echoed their sentiment and rushed towards the volcano crater. Suddenly, all of the devil flame golden lions had returned to the surface. It's a flame crystal vein. Ganxing's eyes lit up when he looked down from above and saw the flame crystals embedded inside the volcano's walls. A flame crystal vein? What a great place this is. Ha! Yanfeng laughed excitedly. Kill them all. A rank 7 devil flame golden lion had a golden mane that looked like flowing streams of golden fire. It was urging its bloodline power to its peak. The devil flame golden lion was over 10 meters tall to begin with. After its bloodline power was activated, it became even bigger than it was before. This devilish body abruptly trembled. Thousands of golden light beams suddenly erupted from its skin and flew straight towards the 10-man squad like golden needles. At the same time, the Abyss Devil roared angrily in the language of the Abyss before flying to the sky right behind the torrent of golden beams. The rest of the Devil Flame Golden Lions angrily followed its lead. They started fighting against the Blaze family's 10-man squad. Meanwhile, Qianlai stared upward from the heart of the volcano or the bottom of the lava pond and watched the fierce battle between the Devil Flame Golden Lion and Blaze family members. This was the first time he ran into God Race clansmen with the Blaze family bloodline. He felt a little excited by this encounter. He had heard of the God Race's scary power many times while he was still in Spirit Realm. Nearly every human expert in Spirit Realm and the other races was afraid of the God Race. He himself had the Blaze family's bloodline in his veins. He knew very well how much power the blood in his veins brought him. That was why he wanted to know how a true God Race clansman fought with their Blaze bloodline. He was very curious to know about them. Did these Blaze family members possess the same latent abilities as he did? There were just so many things he wanted to know about the Blaze family clansmen. Qianlai stared at the battling Devil Flame Golden Lion and Blaze family members with excited eyes. Blaze Spear. At the volcano crater, the tall and handsome Yanfeng summoned a scarlet spear that looked like a fire snake out of nowhere. He urged his bloodline power and injected hundreds of dazzling divine characters straight into his spear. Sounds of fire energy exploding could be heard from within the spear. He abruptly stabbed the weapon straight at a rank 7 Devil Flame Golden Lion. The rank 7 Devil Flame Golden Lion swung its dark red hoof straight at the spear. Bang! Scarlet fire danced wildly in the air like thousands of fire snake. It was as if someone had detonated 10 blazing profound bombs at the same time. The fire snakes twisted in midair to form a mysterious fire formation. Countless Blaze divine characters sprung to life and trapped the Devil Flame Golden Lion inside the secret formation. The rank 7 Devil Flame Golden Lion had a tough body. It charged aimlessly and wildly inside the formation while roaring. One by one, small wounds began to appear on the Abyss Devil's skin. Inside the fire formation, the Blaze Spear suddenly split into thousands of images and stabbed into the rank 7 Devil Flame Golden Lion's body. The Abyss Devil was wounded all over the place in just a short time. Ring of the Burning Sun. A hot God Race beauty called Lu Yang giggled and made a hand seal with her slender fingers. Wisps of orange flames bloomed inside her palm like flowers. The flame instantly transformed into the Ring of the Burning Sun. In just 3 breaths' time, 3 rings of the burning sun about the size of a millstone had appeared at the same time. Every ring of the burning sun were sputtering Blaze divine characters. These Blaze divine characters were like fire spirits that contained Lu Yang's refined soul thought. The 3 fiery discs glowed red like a setting sun. Controlled by her soul thoughts, they rammed into another rank 7 Devil Flame Golden Lion. When the fiery discs had descended from the sky, they kept switching positions and alternating formations as if it was hiding a wonder. Lu Yang herself was floating above the volcano crater. She was clad in a scarlet battle armor and surrounded by intimidating fire. It made her look more and more alluring by the second. Bloodline talent, Fire Soul. Another God Race woman who seemed quiet and gentle-natured, but had an equally hot body cried out softly before unleashing her bloodline power. A blazing fire bird flew out of her bloodline and charged into the last rank 7 Devil Flame Golden Lion. That's the refined soul of a rank 8 vermilion bird, still hiding at the bottom of the pond where the heart of the volcano was. Qianlai couldn't help but be shaken by the sight. The fire bird that had flown out of that mysterious woman's blood was obviously the refined soul of a rank 8 vermilion bird. This vermilion bird soul was tempered into some sort of fire spirit after it had been fused into the mysterious woman's bloodline. A fire spirit like this could merge perfectly with the blaze bloodline. Once it was tempered and nurtured properly by the bloodline talent fire soul, its combat strength would become very impressive. As he had expected, the woman simply stood by with a smile after she had unleashed her fire spirit made from the refined soul of a rank 8 vermilion bird. The fire spirit was fully locked in combat with the last rank 7 devil flame golden lion. She didn't need to interfere at all. Qianlai knew that the Blaze family had once gone to the vermilion bird realm and forced the vermilion birds to submit to them. A fierce war had broken out back then. Many rank 8 and rank 9 vermilion birds were killed during that war. The vermilion birds' refined soul were claimed by the god race as spoils of war. Later on, they granted them to those clansmen who possessed the bloodline talent Fire Soul. Fire Soul was a bloodline talent that enabled a cultivator to nurture a refined fire soul and use them in combat. It was a common but incredibly practical bloodline talent. The 3 god race man and women had rank 7 blaze bloodline. They obviously had the upper hand after they had executed their secret arts and challenged a devil flame golden lion each. The real leader of the group, Ganxing, simply watched the battle with interest. He didn't plan to join the fight. The remaining members of the team had rank 6 bloodline. They all executed their own secret arts and attacked the weaker devil flame golden lion. The volcano crater quickly became a war zone. Beneath the lava pond, Qianlai continued to watch on in silence as his bloodkin did battle against the devil flame golden lions. Gradually, he began to understand how the god race fought in battle. Every Blaze family clansman had a powerful physique. They didn't fear fighting the devil flame golden lion in close range in the slightest. This meant that their physique were as strong as the abyss devils. Even the women weren't afraid to fight the devil flame golden lions at close range. The thought that they might be torn to bits didn't cross their minds at all. Not only was their physique as tough as a monster's, they all possessed a bloodline talent of their own and was capable of executing secret bloodline arts such as the Ring of Burning Sunday. Besides that, they also wielded high-grade spirit artifacts. For example, Yanfeng's Blaze Spear and Lu Yang's Fire War Armor were equipment that worked perfectly with their bloodline. To sum it up, they had a powerful physique, a bloodline with near infinite uses, a considerable number of secret bloodline arts and high-grade spirit artifacts. Almost none of these Blaze family clansmen had clear weaknesses. They weren't afraid to engage anyone in close range or long range. Moreover, they recovered quickly just like the Abyss Devils. If they were hurt in battle, they could use the recovery talent of their bloodline, or stabilize their wounds with their bloodline powers for even quicker recovery. Every one of these fellows seemed like they were born for battle. Every one of them looked like a natural warrior. The powerful golden rank forces at the Central World might have stolen the bloodline of powerful ancient races for themselves, but their third-generation cultivators, assuming that they were at the same realm as these god race clansmen, would be no match for these people nonetheless. 30,000 years ago, the god race was already incredibly powerful. They had obviously become even stronger after fighting and evolving themselves in outer space for 30,000 years. Judging from their younglings' performances, Qianlai had reason to believe that their rank 8, 9, and 10 bloodline experts had become stronger too. Once they had gathered enough refined flesh and blood energy from the abyss, once they had truly begun their invasion of Spirit Realm, the tragedy from 30,000 years ago would almost certainly repeat itself. Spirit Realm might very well be conquered once more. Flame World. While he was still deep in thought, Ganxing smiled and activated his bloodline talent. A special world made of fire swiftly came to existence with Ganxing at the center of it. It was a world of fire where violent and explosive wildfire existed. The Flame World enveloped all the God Race clansmen in combat. These God Race youngsters with the Blaze family's bloodline grew more and more stronger. Because they were inside Flame World, their bloodline powers grew more and more active, and they looked like they all gained a sudden boost of strength. Their secret bloodline arts, powerful spirit artifacts, and fire spirits made using their Blaze bloodline all became more powerful and deadlier than before. These god race juniors already had the upper hand to begin with. After Ganxing's flame world had enhanced their abilities, their combat strength instantly skyrocketed to a new level. The low-rank Devil Flame Golden Lions were the first to be killed. The rank 7 Devil Flame Golden Lion Luyang was severely injured by her 3 Ring of the Burning Suns and lost all ability to do battle. Ganxing's flame world had the ability to improve his kin's bloodline activity and improve their strength massively. All he needed to do was to activate flame world, and most of the time it was good enough to win the battle. The Devil Flame Golden Lions weren't particularly powerful Abyss Devils in the Extreme Flame Abyss anyway. That was why they quickly crumbled under pressure and were killed after he created the Flame World and improved his companion's strength. Suddenly, the tip of Ganxing's brow moved as he turned to look at the heart of the volcano in astonishment. He slowly descended down the volcano crater while staring at the bottom with a pair of burning eyes. Oh no! Qin Lai frowned suddenly at the bottom of the lava pond. After Ganxing had created the flame world, every god race clansman who possessed the Blaze family's bloodline near him would experience increased bloodline activity. Just the same, Qin Lai's bloodline was affected by Ganxing's flame world and became difficult to control. His bloodline presence became obvious due to its increased activity. Ganxing's senses became much sharper while he was within the flame world. Naturally, he didn't miss Qin Lai's suddenly active bloodline. Ganxing was both astonished and suspicious of the bloodline resonance that had appeared out of nowhere from the bottom of the volcano pond. He descended deep into the volcano, but didn't go into the pond. Instead, he smiled and said, "Brother, are you cultivating the molten blood art? You've definitely chosen a good place for yourself. There's a flame crystal vein here, so flame crystals will naturally form in this place every once in a while." Yanfeng, Lu Yang, and the others were busy killing the last of the Devil Flame Golden Lion. They all ignored Ganxing's unusual movements. It was because they hadn't detected a kin at the bottom of the lava pond like Ganxing did. Qin Lai knew that he was exposed the moment he heard Ganxing's words. He thought that Ganxing must have not recognized him. So after a moment's consideration he activated his bloodline and turned his hair and eyes red like a god race clansman would look like. Then he slowly emerged from the lava pond. However, contrary to his expectations, Ganxing's expression changed drastically as he exclaimed, "Why are you here?" Qin Lai had never seen Ganxing in his life, but Ganxing had seen Qin Lai before through the secret mirror back at Spirit Realm's chaotic streams of space. Qin Lai had left a deep impression in him. This was the Extreme Flame Abyss, and to Ganxing's knowledge Qin Lai had never left Spirit Realm. That was why he was completely stunned to find Qin Lai in this abyss level. He had no idea how Qin Lai had entered the Extreme Flame Abyss. "You know me?" Qin Lai himself was confused. He couldn't remember Ganxing at all despite scouring through his memories. He believed that he had never seen this man before. In fact, Song Yi of the Darkness family was the only god race clansman he had ever seen until now. "Song Yi is my cousin. I saw you back at Spirit Realm's chaotic streams of space not long ago," Ganxing answered with surprising honesty. He didn't hide this fact from Qin Lai at all. "Before my sister left, she asked you to give her a drop of lifeblood essence. However, you didn't do as she requested. I was on the other side of that spatial passage, urging Sister Tsangyi to leave that place as soon as possible. Do you remember?" Qin Lai abruptly recalled the memory. Back then, a young man's voice had urged Tsangyi to leave from the other side of the spatial passage. That was why she had left in a hurry. Now that he thought about it, that voice did belong to Ganxing. Once Qin Lai confirmed that Ganxing was the mysterious youth who urged Tsangyi to leave, he immediately grew cautious. "So it was you." Qin Lai turned serious as he subconsciously used his bloodline power. Fire flickered in his pupils. Ganxing had created the flame world, so he was able to detect the changes in Qin Lai's bloodline instantly. Indecision entered his gaze after the brief surprise faded. He has the family's bloodline, but he's not a true clansman. How should I treat someone like him? He felt a headache coming on as he considered his options. Not long ago, he and Song Yi had told the higher-ups about Qin Lai. There were a lot of seniors who valued the report. Unfortunately, Song Yi wasn't able to seize a drop of lifeblood essence from Qin Lai. As a result, the seniors couldn't use his bloodline imprint to find the source of his bloodline and learn of his origin. Gan Xing had purposely asked a senior he respected if there were any Blaze family members who had decided to stay near Spirit Realm prior to their evacuation. However, the senior refused to answer his question due to certain unspoken worries. His reaction convinced Gan Xing that something did happen to the Blaze family back then. However, his bloodline was at mere rank 7. The old man didn't say much because he wasn't yet qualified to know about the family's internal secrets. Before this meeting, Gan Xing thought that it would be a long time before he met Qin Lai again. He thought that it would happen after his family had entered Spirit Realm. He didn't expect his next meeting with Qin Lai to come so soon. "What's going on, Gan Xing? What are you doing down there?" "Who's he?" The girl with a mild temperament but an extremely hot body had looked at Gan Xing after ordering her fire soul to kill the rank 7 Devil Flame Golden Lion. She then saw Qin Lai next to him. Qin Lai had scarlet hair and red pupils. He also looked like he was surrounded by flames. He was obviously her blood kin. However, Wuxia felt both surprise and suspicion when she realized that she had never seen him in her life. She curiously descended down the volcano crater and stopped beside Gan Xing after the earlier exclamation. "Who's he?" Wuxia inspected Qin Lai from head to toe. Rank 7 bloodline. It only took Wuxia a single glance to determine Qin Lai's bloodline rank. All rank 7 Blaze family members were warriors who had at least 100 battles under their belt. There was no way a person like this would be completely unknown. Wuxia's gem-like eyes twirled, but she still couldn't remember hearing or seeing someone like Qin Lai. This was obviously illogical. "He's not handsome enough?" She compared Qin Lai's appearance to Gan Xing's, and she immediately found Gan Xing to be more handsome. Most God race clansmen were either handsome males or gorgeous females. In comparison, Qin Lai's sharp features made him look a lot more robust and rough. His appearance didn't fit into Wuxia's aesthetic point of view. "Who's he?" Wuxia glared at Gan Xing. Gan Xing smiled wryly. He was wondering if he should reveal Qin Lai's identity, so he wasn't able to answer her question immediately. It was around this time Yan Feng and Lu Yang had killed their targets. They both noticed the strange scene inside the volcano. A few rank 6 God race clansmen began dealing with the Devil Flame Golden Lion's corpses under Yan Feng and Lu Yang's orders. They then flew towards Qin Lai, Gan Xing, and Wuxia. Yan Feng and Lu Yang were also examining Qin Lai curiously. They both showed great curiosity towards his origin. "Who is he, Gan Xing? Do you know him, or not?" Wuxia asked in dissatisfaction. Gan Xing let out a dry laugh as his headache got worse. He still wouldn't say anything. "My name is Qin Lai." It was at this moment Qin Lai broke his silence and declared openly, "I have the same bloodline as you all, but I don't belong to the Blaze family. If that's the case, where do you come from?" Lu Yang pursed her lips into an alluring smile. "I hail from Spirit Realm." Qin Lai grinned in return and said calmly, "My father is a human." "Oh no," Gan Xing thought to himself. Spirit Realm, a hybrid between the God race and the human race. Suddenly, Yan Feng's eyes burned bright as if he had injected himself with chicken blood. "You're the guy who fought against Sister Song Yi, aren't you?" Before he returned from the Darkness Abyss, he had fought alongside Song Yi and the members of the Darkness family. He had heard of Qin Lai from Song Yi herself. Song Yi had compared him to Qin Lai and claimed that his rank 6 bloodline wasn't as powerful as Qin Lai's. He couldn't accept it. He didn't believe that a lowly hybrid would be stronger than him. Almost every God race youngster was born with arrogance in their bones. They were all proud of their transcendent bloodline. The God race viewed all other intelligent races except the Spirit race and the Soul race as a level below them. One might say that they were born with a natural sense of superiority. 20,000 years ago, the God race had been forced to evacuate from Spirit Realm. Many God race clansmen saw that loss as a disgrace. Yan Feng was young, so he wasn't yet alive at that point. However, even he considered it a huge disgrace. The God race instinctively loathed many of Spirit Realm's races, the human race even more so. After the god race had evacuated from spirit realm, many of its seniors had criticized the human race harshly. They all thought that the human race was a lowly and despicable race that was only good for breeding. They had never praised the human race even once. When they first arrived at spirit realm, the human race had sat at the bottom of the food chain. They were the first race to submit to them. As a reward to their submission, they taught the human race many secret arts and helped them grow stronger. In return, the human race had attacked the other races under their command. Thanks to their aid and their own fortunes, the human race grew stronger and escaped their title of the weakest race in spirit realm 10,000 years later. After that, the War of the 100 Races broke out. To their surprise, it was the so-called weakest race who had used their enormous numbers against them, united the other races and ultimately chased them out of spirit realm. That was why these seniors deeply resented the human race. It was this resentment that drove them to talk only bad things about the human race when speaking to their descendants. Everything Yanfeng learned about the human race after he was born was negative. That was why he was instinctively repulsed by Qin Lai, a hybrid who was half human. Moreover, Song Yi had compared him to Qin Lai not long ago and told him directly that he would have been weaker than Qin Lai if he was still at rank 6. This made Yanfeng even less friendly towards Qin Lai. That's right. Qin Lai didn't shy away from his accusation. Instead, he answered honestly, "I've fought against Song Yi in the chaotic streams of space of spirit realm." Qin Lai continued before Yanfeng could ask further questions. At the time, my bloodline wasn't rank 7 yet. I was at a complete disadvantage when I fought against Song Yi at the time. He stared at these god race clansmen openly and without hiding his battle lust at all. He let out a long laugh before saying, "But now my bloodline is at rank 7. I would very much like to fight Song Yi again. Is she somewhere around here?" He challenged them. Everyone here, Ganxing, Yanfeng, Lu Yang, and Wuxia had rank 7 bloodline. He had scanned the area around them with his soul consciousness and found no other god race clansmen. It was a relaxing discovery. He didn't think that this 10-man squad led by Ganxing could do much to him. That was why he wasn't nervous at all. In fact, he was fully unleashing his arrogant side. "Your bloodline is at rank 7 already?" The tall and handsome Yanfeng laughed loudly. "Good. This is good. This is very, very good. Big Sis Song Yi once said that I would not be a match for you if our bloodlines were at the same rank." Sister Song Yi actually said that? Both Lu Yang and Wuxia exclaimed at the same time. The two women hadn't gone to the darkness abyss and fought alongside Song Yi before. Naturally, they had no idea that Song Yi had made such a declaration. However, they both knew that Song Yi was strong and insightful. They trusted her judgment, and they knew she wasn't a woman who talked rubbish. "My sister did say that before." Ganxing nodded. As their astonishment grew, the disdain in their eyes decreased bit by bit. They were aware how powerful Yanfeng was. If Song Yi was telling the truth, then this Qin Lai, a hybrid between a human race and a god race, couldn't possibly be too far behind Yanfeng. On the contrary, he might even be stronger than Yanfeng. They were aware that there were some clansmen who made love with the members of other races and gave birth to a few descendants in the past. However, there were a couple of problems. First, very few people actually inherited the Blaze family bloodline. Among those who inherited the Blaze family bloodline, very few people were able to enter the god race's chaos blood realm. In the extremely rare case a hybrid had inherited the Blaze family bloodline and was able to enter the god race's chaos blood realm, their combat strength more often than not lagged behind a pureblood. There were very, very few mixed blood who were stronger than purebloods. Even then, the seniors of the family called them bloodline mutants. These mutants often died young due to a mutation in their bloodline. The women stared at Qin Lai with their fiery red eyes. He didn't look like a person who was going to die anytime soon. "Are you at rank 7 bloodline too?" Qin Lai shot Yanfeng a sideways glance and chuckled. "Would you like to see for yourself if Song Yi was telling the truth or not?" "That is exactly what I'm hoping for," Yanfeng declared spiritedly. Qin Lai laughed and flew up into the sky. He challenged Yanfeng beneath the reddened clouds. "Come and give it a try then." Yang Feng immediately took out his blaze spear, burst into flames and flew into the air without another word. How should we treat him, Ganxing? Beneath the volcano, Wuxia suddenly looked troubled. Lu Yang also asked, should we kill him? Ganxing shook his head and pondered for a moment. Finally, he said, let us observe the situation for now and make the decision later. How did he come to this place? Wuxia asked another question. Ganxing shook his head again. He's a man of many mysteries. Maybe we should try interact with him and come to a decision after we've figured out the abnormalities surrounding him. Try interact with him? What do you mean? Lu Yang asked with obvious surprise. For now, let's treat him like family, Ganxing said quietly. Will that work? Wuxia's eyes brightened slightly. Let's give it a try first. Ganxing lowered his voice and began teaching them how they should work together with him to pacify Qinlai. He also told them not to do anything reckless. Yanfeng couldn't accept Song Ye's evaluation, and he was willing to fight Qinlai to prove himself. Ganxing, Lu Yang, and Wuxia were all looking forward to the fight. In reality, none of them were able to believe Song Ye's claims completely. The god race was very, very seldom the loser in its long history of conquest. Most of the time, they were the ones who came out victorious. Many of the senior god race experts found it difficult to swallow the fact that they had lost at Spirit Realm 20,000 years ago. They harbored plenty of resentment towards the human race, to say the least. That was why all 5 great families of the god race had decided to invade Spirit Realm again 20,000 years later. They wished to wipe their shame away. There were plenty of god race youngsters who knew nothing about the races of Spirit Realm or come into contact with them. They were especially curious about the human race that was mentioned repeatedly by the seniors. How on earth did this weak race that didn't even have latent abilities of their own manage to push the god race away from Spirit Realm? Qinlai was a mixed blood between a god race clansman and a human. That was why they planned to get a clearer picture of the human race through Qinlai. At the same time, they wished to know if Song Ye's evaluation was true and if Qinlai really was stronger than Yanfeng, considering they were at the same bloodline rank. The trio took to the skies quickly, not wanting to miss a good show. Captain! At the volcano crater, the rank 6 bloodline cultivators who were processing the Devil Flame Golden Lion's corpses exclaimed in surprise when they saw Qinlai. Qinlai had seemingly come out of nowhere, so they were extremely curious about him. Just watch. Ganxing motioned for them to stop what they were doing temporarily before pointing at Qinlai. His name is Qinlai, and he is a kin of ours. However, he's also a half-human, and he hails from Spirit Realm. Yanfeng wishes to do battle against him. Since we're invading Spirit Realm soon, I hope that all of you will be able to get a clear picture of the human race through him. Understood. The rank 6 god race warriors immediately stopped their work and paid full attention to Qinlai and Yanfeng's battle from the ground. Remember, none are to interfere with this battle, Ganxing instructed in a strict tone. Interfere? Do you mean we're to do nothing while Yanfeng kills him? A person asked in surprise. Naturally, he thought that Yanfeng would kill Qinlai in combat for sure. They all knew how powerful Yanfeng was at rank 7. None of them thought that Qinlai would be able to hold him back for long. So the captain had to mean that they were to abandon Qinlai to his death, right? Just watch, Ganxing said indifferently. Okay. All 9 god race warriors of the 10-man squad stopped what they were doing and paid full attention to Qinlai and Yanfeng's fight. They wished to verify what kind of enemy they would be facing in Spirit Realm through this fight. They wished to gain knowledge about the human race. Yanfeng activated his bloodline while wielding the blaze spear. A lot of blaze divine characters were injected into the weapon. Sizz! Fire abruptly burst out of the spear. When he stabbed the spear at Qinlai, the flames miraculously weaved itself into a formation. It was the same technique Yanfeng had used against the Devil Flame Golden Lion earlier. The blaze spear and a fire formation surged towards Qinlai at the same time. Inside the formation, countless fire snakes slithered through the sky before transforming into spear afterimages. It's Yanfeng's fire formation. Lu Yang obviously looked caught off guard. She thought that Yanfeng had acted too hastily, and that he shouldn't have revealed his bloodline latent ability so soon. She didn't think that Qinlai was stronger than a rank 7 Devil Flame Golden Lion. Amen. Maybe Yanfeng is planning to prove himself by ending this battle as soon as possible, Wuxia added. Ganxing shook his head and said nothing. His opinion was obviously different from theirs. He knew what Qinlai's bloodline latent abilities were. Qinlai was rank 7, and considering his talents, Ganxing didn't think that Qinlai was too far behind Yanfeng. Ignition. There was envy in Ganxing's eyes as he looked at Qinlai. He obviously desired this bloodline latent ability a lot. Ignition was one of the Blaze family's core abilities. Only a handful of people with the purest bloodline and the highest talent might be able to awaken this latent ability. Moreover, most of his clansmen unlocked this ability at rank 7. But according to Zhang Yi, Qinlai already had ignition when he was at rank 6. It was why Zhang Yi thought that Qinlai was stronger than Yanfeng, assuming they were both rank 6. Ignition allowed one to ignite their bloodline and double their combat strength. A sudden 100% power increase in battle was crazy to say the least. Not even Ganxing dared to claim that he could beat Qinlai 100% of the time at rank 6. Therefore, it wasn't a mistake to go all out against Qinlai, someone with the ignition latent ability, from the beginning. He didn't think that Yanfeng's choice was overly reckless. Moving flames? Qinlai looked at the heart of the volcano and laughed brightly. Suddenly, blazing lava suddenly flew up to the sky from the lava pond. They were attracted by Qinlai's bloodline. The fiery river of lava stretched all the way to the bottom of his feet like a reverse waterfall. The moment the lava reached him, Qinlai immediately summoned the Ring of the Burning Sun with his bloodline power. Once the Ring of Fire had manifested in full, he injected the lava into the circle. The fiery disk abruptly sparkled with Blaze divine runes. The Ring of the Burning Sun, a bloodline secret art. Lu Yang suddenly shouted in surprise. He had gone into our Chaos Blood realm before. Wuxia and the rank 6 God race youngsters turned serious. They were starting to stare at Qinlai with astonishment. It was incredibly rare for a hybrid to enter the Chaos Blood realm. The fact that they could meant that the mixed blood had incredibly pure bloodline. It also meant that Qinlai must have awakened a few bloodline latent abilities, and that he couldn't be too far behind them even if he was inferior. Since Qinlai was a rank 7 cultivator who had entered the Chaos Blood realm before, his bloodline latent abilities couldn't possibly be too inferior compared to Yanfeng's. Therefore, Qinlai really was a match for Yanfeng. Suddenly, it didn't look like Yanfeng was going to obtain an easy victory. Bang, bang, bang. Fire streamed, sparkled, and exploded all around Qinlai. The entire sky became filled with dazzling fire. The hundreds and thousands of spear afterimages stabbed towards Qinlai's fiery disk from every direction. Every time the two fiery energies clashed, and an explosion occurred, it was a clash between Qinlai's bloodline power and his. In an instant, Yanfeng had clashed head-on against Qinlai for thousands of times. Qinlai was still trapped inside the formation. The blaze spear continued to emerge from every angle. However, the fiery disk Qinlai had conjured with his bloodline continued to stand strong despite the attack. It protected Qinlai from Yanfeng's attacks completely. This isn't going to work, Qinlai said calmly from behind the fiery disk. He gave Yanfeng a smile that didn't reach the eyes before shaking his head. What do you mean? Yanfeng snorted coldly. If you keep at it, I won't even need to use my bloodline latent abilities. Qinlai smiled. What an arrogant fellow, Lu Yang exclaimed. Wuxia was also frowning slightly. This mixed blood is seriously puffed up. Ganxing frowned seriously, but he didn't offer an opinion. It was because Qinlai was telling the truth. He hadn't used any latent ability up until this point. The fire formation was one of Yanfeng's bloodline abilities. Yanfeng had used it since the start of the fight. The only time Qinlai used his bloodline powers was when he attracted the lava from the heart of the volcano. The Ring of the Burning Sun was a bloodline secret art, not a latent ability. Qinlai hadn't used any bloodline latent ability, so of course his current display of strength wasn't his final power level. He was holding back. It was a fact that Yen Feng failed to force out Qin Lai's bloodline latent abilities with his own. It was quite an awkward position to be in. That was why Ganxing thought that Qin Lai's taunt wasn't completely unfounded. Yen Feng, I thought I should remind you that he has awakened ignition when he was just at rank 6. Ganxing suddenly declared loudly. What? Wuxia, Lu Yang, and everyone else were stunned to hear this. This mixed blood actually awakened one of the most important latent abilities of the Blaze family, ignition, while he was just at rank 6. It was quite a bitter pill to swallow. Ganxing, did you just say he awakened ignition at rank 6? Lu Yang's charming face was etched with astonishment. She obviously found his claim hard to believe. Are you absolutely sure, Captain? A rank 6 god race youngster also cried out. Ignition was one of the strongest and most important abilities one might awaken as a member of the Blaze family. No one in the 10-man team, including Ganxing, had awakened this ability yet. Qin Lai was just a mixed blood, but not only had he awakened to this ability, it had appeared as early as rank 6. It was undoubtedly a bitter pill for them to swallow. You'll know very soon if it's truth or not, Ganxing said calmly. He looked at Yen Feng. Yen Feng was still enveloping Qin Lai with his fire formation. His expression clearly darkened when he heard this. The knowledge that Qin Lai had awakened ignition at rank 6 came from Congyi, and Yen Feng knew her well enough to know that she never talked nonsense. Qin Lai hadn't used ignition even though they had been fighting for a while. It was proof that Qin Lai really hadn't used his full strength. Therefore, Qin Lai's taunt wasn't unreasonable. Yen Feng was a prideful man, and he found the taunts of a mixed blood difficult to bear. Fire Soul. Yen Feng activated his bloodline power again. This time, a fiery dragon made of the power of his bloodline burst out of his chest with a roar. Just like the vermilion bird from earlier, this fire dragon was made from a soul of rank 8 fire beast. Both Yen Feng and Wuxia had awakened to the bloodline latent ability Fire Soul, an ability that required them to nurture a fire soul with their blood. The rank 8 fire dragon had answered his summons and came out roaring after Yen Feng activated his bloodline. The fire dragon instantly charged into the fiery formation and attacked Qin Lai just like the blaze spear. Unlike the blaze spear, the fire dragon had its own intelligence and soul consciousness. It wisely avoided the ring Qin Lai had created with his bloodline power and attacked him from behind. A violent and brutal soul energy flew straight towards Qin Lai's soul consciousness in the shape of a fiery pillar. The attack was powered by the fire dragon's own soul energy. Heavenly Thunder Eradication. Qin Lai didn't even bother looking behind himself. He summoned the heavenly thunder with his soul thought, and thunder suddenly reverberated through his soul consciousness. The turbulent storm of thunder and lightning protected his soul consciousness completely and destroyed all foreign soul thoughts into nothingness. The dragon's soul attack barely entered Qin Lai's consciousness before it was struck by the thunder. It crumbled into dust before it could even take a form of its own. The fire dragon's soul attack was completely nullified by Qin Lai. It failed to do any damage to him whatsoever. The fire dragon stared at Qin Lai with obvious fear after he had easily nullified its soul attack with ease. The threatening demeanor it displayed at the beginning was all gone. It suddenly tiptoed around Qin Lai as if it was afraid to get close. The fire soul is afraid. Wuxia looked thoughtful as a slight frown appeared on her face. Just like Yen Feng, she had awakened to the bloodline latent ability Fire Soul and was gifted a refined Fire Soul by her family elders. Yen Feng was given a fire dragon, while she was given a vermilion bird. Both refined souls were at about the same level. Through the use of the family's secret art, Wuxia had fused the rank 8 vermilion bird soul into her bloodline and nurtured it with her own blood. Therefore, she was aware that the soul had a real mind of its own despite the lack of physical body. It meant that the fire soul knew how to protect itself. The fire dragon had charged Qin Lai ferociously at first. However, it suddenly turned fearful and tiptoed around Qin Lai in fear. This meant that it must have suffered a huge loss in Qin Lai's hands. She also knew that Yen Feng's fire soul was well-versed in soul attacks. Wuxia's expression grew increasingly serious as the thoughts passed through her mind. The fact that he can disable the fire dragon's soul attack and terrify it at the same time means that his recognition of soul power is at an incredibly high level. The Blaze family isn't particularly good at soul attacks, and we don't have any soul-related latent abilities to awaken in our bloodline. How could he possibly nullify the fire dragon's attack so easily? Wuxia looked puzzled. She was slowly changing her mind over the course of the battle. Yan Feng's victory was looking less and less like a certainty. Bite him! Yan Feng's face flushed completely red when he noticed that his fire dragon was afraid of Qin Lai. He immediately barked out a harsh order. The cowering dragon had no choice but to attack Qin Lai once more. Qin Lai turned around and stared at the fire soul indifferently. He revealed a bit of the fire spirit of void and chaos's presence from his glabella. The fire Qilin was at rank 7. It was the most extraordinary fire-based life in the entire world. This spirit of void and chaos lived by consuming all fire attribute spirit materials it encountered. This extraordinary life form had to consume enormous amounts of fire attribute spirit materials to advance through the ranks. At a certain rank, it could literally devour anything fire-based. When the fire spirit of void and chaos reached its ultimate form, it would travel from realm to realm and devour all fire that existed in those realms. The fire soul in Yan Feng's blood was a soul being made of pure fire. Therefore, it was the perfect food for the fire spirit of void and chaos. The fire soul didn't have a body, so it could easily be attracted and devoured by the fire Qilin. One might say that the fire spirit of void and chaos was the natural enemy of all fire souls. The second the fire dragon detected the spirit of void and chaos's presence, it immediately escaped like its life depended on it. The fiery form it took suddenly exploded into a shower of blazed divine characters and pitter-pattered on Yan Feng's fire formation. The refined soul escaped back into Yan Feng's body. It refused to come out no matter how many times Yan Feng tried to resummon it. It had no wish to be devoured by its natural enemy. Yan Feng stomped his feet in rage because of this. The fire dragon wasn't the only one who was afraid when Qin Lai let loose the fire spirit of void and chaos's presence. The rank 8 vermilion bird inside Wuxia's body was just as terrified. The refined soul of rank 8 vermilion bird urged Wuxia repeatedly to move as far away from Qin Lai as possible. This sudden change shocked Wuxia greatly. A few other rank 6 god race clansmen who had awakened the fire soul latent ability and nurtured a fire soul inside their bloodlines turned deathly pale too. Every fire soul within the vicinity was terrified by the fire spirit of void and chaos's presence. They kept soothing the fire souls inside their bodies while staring at Qin Lai in great astonishment. By now, everyone was aware that Qin Lai was hiding something that could strike fear into all fire souls. It was because their fire souls were made terrified and anxious by that thing's presence. Yan Feng, just withdraw your fire soul. Ganxing looked up and sighed once. Your fire soul doesn't want to die. They could sense their natural enemy and the death it brings. Yan Feng's face grew uglier and uglier over time. He stopped summoning his fire soul and stared at Qin Lai like he would shoot lava from it. What are you hiding? What is it that scared my fire soul so much? He yelled at Qin Lai. Qin Lai smiled calmly at him. It is something that can take out your fire soul with barely any effort. A furious smile passed through Yan Feng's face as he prepared himself for another attack. However, Ganxing chose this moment to wave his hands and said, "Enough. Let's stop this fight here." From the distance, Yan Feng looked at him and snorted coldly. What do you mean stop here? Ganxing frowned at him before answering. You failed to beat him with the fire formation and fire soul, didn't you? The only bloodline ability you have left is recovery, which doesn't possess any offensive power whatsoever. This means that you're now out of powerful offensive methods, but he hasn't even used ignition yet. Isn't it clear that you've already lost? Wuxia, Lu Yang, and the rank 6 god race clansmen suddenly came to a realization. Yan Feng had failed to hurt Qin Lai despite using both his bloodline latent abilities, fire formation and fire soul. It meant that he was out of techniques already. Meanwhile, Qin Lai hadn't even activated his ignition. It was obvious he hadn't unleashed his actual combat prowess. This meant that Yan Feng was no match for Qin Lai, wasn't it? Yan Feng was pure-blooded, and Qin Lai wasn't. The fact that he lost to someone like Qin Lai had shamed him deeply. You are not his match. Gan Xing ignored Yan Feng's anger and spoke the truth, indicating for Yan Feng to stop. In this group of 10, Yan Feng was the vice-captain. Gan Xing, however, was the true captain. In terms of bloodline power, birth and battle prowess, Gan Xing was much stronger than Yan Feng. Yan Feng also knew this. In truth, Yan Feng held a thread of respect towards the younger Gan Xing. Possibly due to this, while Yan Feng was furious, he only shouted a few times to vent his displeasure but did not argue with Gan Xing. Come down. Let me try, Gan Xing said. Let you try? Yan Feng shook. Now he realized what Gan Xing meant. Gan Xing was going to fight Qin Lai. Captain! The other 8 young God race clansmen couldn't help but shout. Their eyes filled with disbelief. They had not expected Gan Xing was going to fight Qin Lai. Gan Xing was the most famous expert among the family's rank 7 bloodline warriors, and his bloodline was far purer than Yan Feng's. Due to this, the young Gan Xing was their captain, one they accepted from the bottom of their heart. Just his latent ability, Flame World, could greatly enhance their strength during battle. A rank 7 bloodline with Flame World latent ability. Only Gan Xing had awakened this latent ability among them. Also, they knew that Gan Xing's bloodline was far more intricate than just Flame World. When they heard Gan Xing was going to fight Qin Lai, Yan Feng, who had been angry, suddenly calmed down. He knew he wasn't Gan Xing's match. Gan Xing came out and wanted to fight Qin Lai. This meant that Gan Xing treated Qin Lai like an equal. This meant Qin Lai was actually a bit stronger than him. When Yan Feng thought of this, while he found it difficult to accept, his expression turned slightly for the better. He glanced coldly at Qin Lai, and then silently retreated. Yan Feng landed at the entrance to the volcano. He stopped next to Wuxia, Lu Yang, and the others. He has something that makes fire souls feel fear. You were not the only one. My rank 8 vermilion bird was also terrified. Wuxia consoled gently. Do not blame the fire soul. It is intelligent. It knows if it continues to fight, it may die. It is hard for us to make a fire soul. Before our bloodline reaches rank 9, the fire soul will always be our good helper. Do not blame that fire dragon due to such a minor matter. This person is a bit special. Let's just watch, Lu Yang urged. Yan Feng's expression was dark. He nodded and said, I know. At this time, Gan Xing was slowly flying into the air. Gan Xing was handsome and looked only 18 or so. He usually had a gentle smile, his eyes flashing with the fire of intelligence. When he flew into the sky, he bowed slightly to Qin Lai. He asked with a smile, Do you wish to rest for a moment? Qin Lai narrowed his eyes and looked interestedly at him. Are you Zhang Ye's cousin? Gan Xing nodded with a smile. Which one of you is stronger? Qin Lai asked. Gan Xing thought and seriously replied. Cousin Zhang Yi is stronger than me. Qin Lai smiled. He nodded and said, Last time when she left, she said she would find my birth. Have there been any developments? He was very surprised at accidentally coming to the extreme flame abyss and encountering members of the Blaze family. Now that he was there, he also wanted to lift the veil of mystery around his birth. You did not give her your blood. We could not confirm your birth. Gan Xing had a sincere expression. He said, If you don't mind, just give me a drop of your lifeblood essence. I will try to learn who your mother is. How about it? How do I know you will not kill me? Qin Lai asked. You have the blood of our family flowing in you. Unless you do something that greatly embarrasses the family, we will not do anything to you, Gan Xing guaranteed. Never mind. Qin Lai shook his head. He knew his bloodline was unusual. It could very well be the perfect blood the God race had pursued for many years. He couldn't be sure how God race would react if his blood was made public. He was worried he would be turned into a puppet by the present God race clansmen. They would dissect him and drain his bloodline to study him. Also, he didn't know how the Blaze family would react to a mixed blood like him. He had all kinds of concerns. It is all right if you don't care. I am not cousin Zhang Yi. I do not like to force others. Ganxing was not angry. He smiled and said, when we come to Spirit Realm, we will learn your birth through other means. Oh, you are coming to Spirit Realm? Qin Lai pretended to ask casually. Are we not already in the abyss stocking up on flesh filled with refined energy? Ganxing did not conceal it. He said their aim and then said helplessly, other families have the flesh-filling tombstones, and they are much faster than our family. Also, the Blaze family's flesh-filling tombstone supposedly was lost in a secret realm of Spirit Realm 20,000 years ago. This has caused a delay in our invasion of the extreme flame abyss. Hearing him mention the flesh-filling tombstone, Qin Lai's eyes flashed and his mind changed slightly. Through the explanation from the 8 god generals, he knew the value of the flesh-filling tombstone. The god race only had 5 flesh-filling tombstones. This was enough to prove the uniqueness of the item. Right now, because the Blaze family did not have the flesh-filling tombstone, their progress in the extreme flame abyss had been slowed. If they knew that the flesh-filling tombstone that had been lost in Spirit Realm was in his hands, he did not know what the experts of the Blaze family would do. When he thought of this, he immediately decided to not use the flesh-filling tombstone in the extreme flame abyss. He also had to avoid contact with the true experts of the Blaze family. He worried those experts with rank 9 bloodline would feel the presence of the flesh-filling tombstone he hid in his spatial ring. If this was true, he did not think he could continue to have and use the flesh-filling tombstone. Cousin Song Yi said that if we had the same rank bloodline, I might not be a match for you. At this time, Ganxing took a deep breath. His expression became grave. I will test the truth of her words. Qin Lai looked down at Yan Feng and said calmly, you should be stronger than him. Of course, Ganxing said with a smile. All right. Qin Lai nodded. I also want to see just how strong the very best of the Blaze family are. I hope I will not disappoint you, Ganxing said. When he finished, he immediately unleashed the flame world in his bloodline. He filled the area with blazing flames, and formed a mysterious domain that could greatly amplify the power of the Blaze family bloodline. Qin Lai was also within the flame world that Ganxing had formed. However, unlike earlier when he was hiding within the volcano, he didn't feel comfortable being in this domain. The power field produced by this flame world seemed to suppress his bloodline. He could not boil his bloodline as fast as possible. My flame world is under my control. In my flame world, I can strengthen the bloodline of my race and also weaken it, Ganxing said. You are not the only one who has awakened flame world, Qin Lai shouted. Tongues of flame flashing with divine characters formed around him. Those divine characters danced around him and created a domain identical to Ganxing's. Qin Lai's flame world. Flame world. It really is flame world. At the mouth of the volcano, all the young god race clansmen, including Yan Feng, started to shout. Ganxing was able to become their captain because his rank 7 bloodline contained the flame world latent ability. This was a bloodline latent ability that could enhance all of their strengths. At the same time, among the many bloodline latent abilities of the Blaze family, Flame World was one of the strongest. Qin Lai, a mixed blood, also releasing Flame World exceeded their expectations. Releasing Flame World immediately was Qin Lai recognizing Ganxing's power and treating Ganxing as a worthy opponent. This was why he preemptively released Flame World. When he faced Yan Feng, from start to finish, he did not activate any of his bloodline latent abilities. This meant that Yan Feng was not as strong as Ganxing. In the sky, when Qin Lai's Flame World appeared, it immediately crashed against Ganxing's Flame World. Previously, Ganxing's Flame World shrouded this area, including Qin Lai. This was akin to using a small secret realm to trap Qin Lai. Qin Lai's Flame World was another secret realm. When 2 secret realms appeared together, and were enemies, naturally they could not coexist peacefully. PSSZZZist. Qin Lai's Flame World collided with Ganxing's Flame World, creating blinding flames and light. In the eyes of observers such as Yan Feng and Lu Yong, Qin Lai and Ganxing were charging at each other with enormous fire shields. Lightning flashed where the 2 enormous flame shields touched. Sparks flew. There was also cracking sounds. At the same time, divine characters appeared in the eyes of Qinlai and Ganxing. The Blaze divine characters embedded in the Blaze family bloodline merged into their flame worlds. The two enormous flame shields immediately started burning bright like fiery suns. Qinlai and Ganxing were inside the two suns as their bloodline gave off wild flames. They caused this volcano which had gone dormant to boil again. Boom, boom, boom. The volcano below Yanfeng and the others started to tremble. Streams of magma erupted. The lava flowers were drawn to Qinlai and Ganxing's flame worlds and gathered towards them. In a flash, Qinlai and Ganxing's flame worlds filled with not only flames, but also huge amounts of lava that kept flowing in huge waves. In Wuxia's eyes, Qinlai and Ganxing's flame worlds had become two restless oceans of lava. They formed unusual vibrations that could affect the flames in the surroundings. When the vibrations started, the nearby volcanoes started to become restless. Boom, boom, boom. Roars came from deep within the ground as though a fire beast that was hiding there had been disturbed by their bloodline power. This guy! Yan Feng's proud expression receded as he watched the battle. He looked gravely at Qinlai. Suddenly, he realized he might not be Qinlai's match either. He finally believed Song Ye's judgment. Back then, cousin said, Ganxing might actually be a bit weaker, he suddenly said in shock. What? Cousin Song Yi really said this? Wu Sha's expression changed. Lu Yang had an expression of shock. Yan Feng's expression was bitter and helpless. I was not willing to admit it previously. However, since he can use Flame World, I start to believe Song Ye's judgment slightly. Wu Sha and Lu Yang were even more shocked. At this time, everyone heard Qinlai's laugh. As he laughed, Qinlai's fiery hair started to grow furiously. As his hair grew long, Qinlai's presence started to rise at an astounding rate. All the bloodline power within him seemed to burn. He started to release power that surpassed his rank. This was the ignition latent ability of his bloodline. Yanfeng and the others saw Qinlai's hair grow and knew he had activated ignition. When Blaze family member ignited their bloodline, it would become restless and uncontrollable. The most evident physical sign was growing hair. They immediately noticed. As expected, ignition. Ganxing looked at Qinlai in his flame world. When Qinlai's red hair grew again, he couldn't help but shout in shock. When Qinlai used ignition, Ganxing clearly felt his flame world was slowly being suppressed by Qinlai's flame world and was forced to shrink. Yanfeng and the others below could see it more clearly. As Qinlai released his ignition, Qinlai's flame world grew bigger and covered move area. The flame shield covering Qinlai immediately doubled in size. Ganxing's flame shield used up a great amount of bloodline power in the fierce collision and started to shrink. When the two were compared, it was clear that Ganxing's flame shield had shrunk by more than half. This meant that the bloodline power Qinlai was putting into the flame world was more than double Ganxing. Is that for real? Lu Yang covered her mouth, her eyes shocked as she unconsciously shook her head. She clearly did not believe Ganxing's bloodline power was weaker than Qinlai's. It's not all the power Ganxing wields, Wuxia said. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Ganxing's hands formed strange seals within his flame world. His palm opened and surging flames floated out. The wisps of flame formed a burning lotus flower in his hand. The lotus flowers flashed with mysterious god race characters. They were clear and appeared beautiful and extraordinary. The red crystal fire lotuses surrounding him, Ganxing showed a smile on his handsome face. They floated and streaked about his flame world like clouds, and then flew in the direction of Qinlai's flame world. Yanfeng and the others down at the volcano had shocked expressions. They also knew the power of the fire lotuses. Be careful, Ganxing warned Qinlai with a smile. The crystal fire lotuses slowly floated out of Ganxing's flame world. Then they easily entered Qinlai's flame world. Once they did, they gave off a strange attraction. The fire energy filling Qinlai's flame world suddenly uncontrollably flooded into the fire lotuses. Instantly, the fire lotuses started to grow, becoming bigger and stronger. The flame world Qianlai formed by burning his bloodline drastically shrunk due to the arrival of these fire lotuses. The energy maintaining the flame world was being siphoned. The fire lotuses that Ganxing had formed using bloodline power started to furiously absorb the flames of Qianlai's flame world. Qianlai's flame world started to visibly shrink. On the other hand, Ganxing's flame world started to furiously grow as it assimilated the energy fire lotuses had absorbed. Ganxing's flame world quickly surpassed Qianlai's in size. All the while, the fire lotuses kept absorbing even more flames of Qianlai's flame world. Qianlai could feel the fire energy that formed the flame world quickly slip away under the attraction of the fire lotuses. This is also a bloodline latent ability? Qianlai said in shock. Ganxing smiled faintly and said secretively, "Guess." Qianlai looked deeply at the crystal fire lotuses and his brow shifted. "It should be a kind of artifact." Ganxing chuckled and did not answer. "Yeah. At this time, the fire spirit hidden in Qianlai's soul-suppressing orb suddenly became extremely excited. The fire spirit seemed to smell something delicious. Qianlai mentally communicated with the fire spirit and asked why it was excited. Quickly received a response. After receiving the fire spirit's mental response, Qianlai had a surprised expression. He looked at the fire lotuses in his flame world, having new understanding of their origins. They were an item that had been carved from fire attribute soul altars. Human martial practitioners such as Tang Beidou that only cultivated fire energy would start creating their flame soul altars upon breaking through to the imperishable realm. They would use refined fire attribute spirit materials to create them. The soul altar was the foundation of many intelligent races. It was source of their power, mysterious and magnificent. Humans would only create soul altars when they have reached the imperishable realm. Other strong races could only refine their soul altars once they reached a certain level of power. The fire lotuses that Ganxing received had been formed with secret arts of the god race by refining soul altars they had created. In essence, the fire lotuses were soul altars which had been refined again, which was why they were so attractive to the fire spirit. The spirits of void and chaos had the infamy of being soul altar devourers. They instinctively desired items like this made out of pure fire attribute spirit materials. Yes, the lotuses are not a bloodline latent ability, but a powerful artifact. Ganxing could see that Qianlai had already ascertained their origin and did not continue to conceal it. He said with a smile, "In battle, other than latent ability, physical power, and secret arts, we have to compete with spirit artifacts." Spirit artifacts. Qianlai's eyes flashed with light. He knew the concept of spirit artifacts started with the god race. After the god race conquered the spirit realm, they started to call the artifacts the native races of spirit realm were using spirit artifacts. According to the god race, the powerful high-rank races also called these tools that. In the vast galaxy, the name of spirit artifacts was a common term. "Your spirit artifact is good." Qianlai grinned, but it was slightly strange. "But it cannot harm me." "Oh!" Ganxing clearly did not believe it. "Cannot harm you? Is your flame world not slowly contracting?" The conversation between the two also reached ears of Wuxia and the others. They also had pleased expressions. They also thought Qianlai was boasting. "You do not believe me?" Qianlai raised an eyebrow. Ganxing said with a smile, "I do not. Then I will not be polite." Qianlai's mind shifted. Bloody red spears shot out of his body and released dazzling white light. Among the light, the fire spirit secretly flew out and burrowed into a fire lotus. When the fire spirit flew out, Yanfeng, Wuxia, and the other god race martial practitioners who had fire souls in their bodies felt the terror and anxiousness swell inside them. They immediately knew that Qianlai had released the thing that their fire souls had been so afraid of. Almost at the same time, Ganxing, who felt he had the upper hand on Qianlai, started to shout, "Stop! Stop!" Ganxing shouted, a terrified expression on his handsome face. Threads of his soul were imprinted on the fire lotuses. When the fire spirit flew amid the fire lotuses and started to consume the refined spirit materials they were made of, he immediately realized something had gone terribly wrong. Those fire lotuses were spirit artifacts that the family elders had made for him. They were primarily made out of flame soul altars. He treasured them. Once the fire spirit burrowed into the fire lotus, it damaged this artifact at the very core. Like a locust consuming valuable wood, it was going to completely destroy the spirit artifact. He felt both shocked and suspicious. He released several soul attacks but did not feel anything in that fire lotus. But he clearly knew something had entered. It seemed that thing had terrifying control over the fire lotus made out of soul altars. Within the fire lotus, he could not feel the existence of that thing. This discovery caused him to know that the thing was the bane of the soul altars. Realizing this, he knew he could not win over Qianlai with the fire lotuses. He had to surrender. I said so, Qianlai chuckled. He did not continue to attack, and had the fire spirit come back into the soul-suppressing orb with a mental order. When the fire spirit disappeared, the fire lotuses that Ganxing released immediately recovered. He stopped feeling the corrosion of the fire lotus. The fire souls in Yanfeng, Wuxia, and the others calmed down as well. Forget it. Ganxing shook his head and sighed helplessly. He retracted his fire lotuses as well as his flame world. Maybe cousin Song Yi was right. With bloodlines of the same rank, I may not be a match for you. He generously admitted his failure. Seeing him not desiring to fight, Qianlai's mind shifted and he also took down his flame world. He looked interestedly at Ganxing and said with a smile, "If I do not have something that subdues your spirit artifacts, you should not admit defeat so quickly. Let me guess. You should have other latent abilities you have not used, no?" He could see that Ganxing had not used his full power. This god race youth that looked younger than him still hid his true power and did not display all of it. That was also the case for Qianlai. He didn't use lightning, frost, or earth spirit arts in his possession. I do have other latent abilities and other tactics, but I know you are not fighting at full power either. Ganxing felt slightly helpless. I truly feel your full power surpasses mine. Qianlai did not speak. He looked at him, and then the god race clansman at the mouth of the volcano thoughtfully. Take care of the corpses of the devil flame golden lions. Ganxing looked down and ordered the weaker clansman. Then he said to Yanfeng, Wuxia, and Lu Yong, "You three, come here." Yanfeng and the others flew into the sky. Could we move somewhere else and talk? Ganxing asked Qianlai. Of course. Ganxing led Qianlai, Yanfeng, and the others descended from the sky and entered the volcano before stopping at a crimson rock. Streams of lava winded around this place. The flames boiled and the temperature was high. But for them who had the Blaze family bloodline, they felt comfortable in a place like this. The family is invading the extreme flame abyss. Small squads of 10 people, medium squads of 100 and big squads of up to 1,000 are spread around the extreme flame abyss as they fight the lords and great lords of the abyss. Ganxing explained to Qianlai. We are only a team of 10. I am their captain. There are no powerful abyss devils in the vicinity. We were pursuing this group of devil flame golden lions, so we split from the bigger group and came here, encountering you. Where did you come from? Lu Yang's eyes moved as she smiled bright and asked Qianlai in curiosity. Qianlai glanced at her, his gaze pausing at her voluptuous chest. He said with a smile, "From spirit realm." Lu Yang noticed his gaze but was not embarrassed. She deliberately pushed up her chest, her hand playing with a strand of her red hair as she said with a smile, "Spirit realm also has a passageway into the abyss? We should have destroyed them before leaving. There should not be any." Ganxing was puzzled. Not spirit realm. A realm close to it. Qianlai did not elaborate. Oh. Ganxing nodded and did not press the subject. He said, "I can see you do not want to meet the senior members of the family." Qianlai did not refute this and confirmed, "Yes." Why? Ganxing was curious. Qianlai frowned. How do I know how they will treat me? Ganxing's expression turned serious and he said, "You think too much," Wuxia explained. "As long as you have the blood of the family will not treat you as an enemy. In our family, there are also mixed bloods like you with the Blaze family bloodline. Most of them cannot enter Chaos Blood Realm and are far weaker than you, but they have status within the family. As long as they perform great service when the family wages war, they will also be given rights of property to some private realms. As long as you do not work with other races to act against the family, just with the Blaze family bloodline you have, the family will not treat you like an enemy, Ganxing said seriously. Soon you will enter Spirit Realm and we will invade it again. At that time, I do not know what I will do, Qianlai said gravely. While you are strong, you only have a rank 7 bloodline. When the 5 families invade Spirit Realm, what can you do? Lu Yang was shocked. If you do not want to fight on the family's side, you can just stand by and not interfere. Many mixed bloods choose to distance themselves when the family attacks their realms. After the matter, whether or not the family conquers that realm has nothing to do with them. The family will not blame them for any failures. When the time comes, you can also choose this option. That way, the family's invasion of Spirit Realm will have nothing to do with you. But because you will not participate, they will not reward you afterwards. When the family conquers another realm, you can participate in battle. The family will reward you based on your contributions. This has always been our policy for mixed bloods, Ganxing said. Extreme Flame Abyss, a gray pillar that resembled many cyclones gathered together, connected sky and earth. This enormous gray pillar was the Abyss passageway. Inside, spatial power was chaotic and random explosions would occur. The passageway was filled with terrifying power capable of crushing everything to fine powder. Many black kernels would expand like a black hole and then shrink into invisibility. Those black kernels were mysterious passageways connected to different realms. Suddenly, a passageway made out of ice spread in the center of the rippling pillar. The ice walls gradually extended outwards. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Devilish figures giving off cold energy appeared out of that crystal ice pathway and descended to the Extreme Flame Abyss. They were high-rank devils who came from the Frost Desolation Abyss. Enos, who had fought Qianlai not long ago, was among them. Enos's black wings fanned. As she appeared in the Extreme Flame Abyss, she couldn't help but mutter in the Abyss language, "So hot. This damned place wants to bake people." Beside her were high-rank Abyss devils from the Frost Desolation Abyss. The leading Abyss devil had a long tail, dark purple eyes, and sharp ears covered in hoops. "Your father ordered us to find that Blaze family boy as soon as possible," the Abyss devil with rank 8 bloodline said. "Klaus, I do not need you to remind me. I know why we came," Enos said impatiently. As she spoke, she released her bloodline power and used the latent ability in her bloodline to search her surroundings. Before Qianlai fled the Frost Desolation Abyss, he had been searched by Enos's father with a wisp of soul consciousness. By the time he escaped by creating Star Door, he had already been marked with the aura of Enos's father. The Great Lord of the Frost Desolation Abyss arranged for Enos to come to the Extreme Flame Abyss because he wanted Enos to use that aura to lead his subordinates. Enos's bloodline came from him, so even in the Extreme Flame Abyss, Enos could follow his aura through her bloodline latent ability. As soon as they left the Abyss passageway, Enos released her bloodline power and scouted the surroundings. She quickly stopped. "What is it?" the rank 8 Abyss Devil Klaus asked. Only rank 9 Abyss Devils would be called Lords of the Abyss and had the ability to rule over an area. Because Klaus's bloodline did not reach rank 9, he had been arranged to lead the team to the Extreme Flame Abyss. Otherwise, the group would attract attention of Lords of Extreme Flame Abyss. Within the Abyss, there were all kinds of unwritten rules. Rank 9 Abyss Devils entering other Abyss levels would be considered an invasion. Due to this, Enos's father could only send Klaus with the group to Extreme Flame Abyss. Those with stronger bloodlines could attract the ire of Lords of Extreme Flame Abyss and be met with unnecessary trouble. Klaus only had a rank 8 bloodline. He knew from his brethren that compared to God race, their power was average. He only hoped to finish the Great Lord's orders as soon as possible. "I found his location." Enos looked into the distance. "Let's go." "Quickly," Enos urged. Enos pointed upwards. The Frost Desolation Abyss Devils led by Klaus looked up into the sky. Their expressions froze. In the distant sky, There was an enormous flaming figure waving its enormous axe as it led fire abyss devils to fight god race clansmen. The sky in that region was filled with flame, but no sound or power vibrations spread. Clearly, a powerful boundary sealed up that battlefield. The existence of the battlefield meant the fighting abyss devils and the god race's destructive power would not spread unhindered. This would prevent the land of the extreme flame abyss from being eternally damaged. Due to this, when they looked over, they could see the earth-shattering battles, but they could not hear anything nor feel the wild power. That is a lord of the abyss leading a group of fire abyss devils to fight with a large battalion of the god race. We cannot go over there, Klaus said depressedly. Let's detour, Enos answered. We can only detour. Klaus was helpless. There was no rank 9 among them and they were few in number. If they rashly went over, the results would be catastrophic. Let's go another way. Enos flew in another direction. Klaus nodded and led those high-rank abyss devils from the Frost Desolation abyss to fly after her. Behind the volcano, Qin Lai, who was talking with Ganxing and Lu Yang, suddenly frowned. Powerful soul vibrations appeared on him. What is it? Ganxing said curiously. Qin Lai did not speak. He closed his eyes and checked his condition for a while. A moment earlier, he felt as though he was being watched by a soul presence. There seemed to be a pair of eyes in the darkness staring at him. This feeling came so suddenly he felt anxious, so he stopped talking with Ganxing and seriously investigated. However, when he probed with his mind, he did not find anything. The feeling of being observed just a moment earlier disappeared into thin air. Nothing. He shook his head and smiled faintly. He said, I was able to come to this level of the extreme flame abyss due to an accident, so I am slightly paranoid. Paranoid? Ganxing paused and said, If you do not mind, do you mind telling me how you came here? Also, your expression was just very strange. What did you feel? You have to know, for super bloodlines like us, sometimes mysterious feelings are reliable and have a cause. After he said this, Qin Lai explained thoroughly. I actually came from the Frost Desolation abyss. When I was trying to return to my camp, a great lord of the abyss intervened and I somehow ended up here. Great lord of the abyss intervened? Wuxia shouted. Qin Lai looked strangely at her and felt she was a bit overexcited. Every great lord of the abyss is an existence that has lived for millennia. They wouldn't pay attention to a boy with rank 7 bloodline of the god race without any cause. Wuxia looked uncertainly at him and said seriously, Do not be offended by the truth I speak. Rank 7 bloodline warriors like us in the eyes of the great lords of the abyss are like ants. The abyss devils which reach the level of great lord of the abyss use their long lives to comprehend the laws of the abyss and rarely pay attention to the matters of the outside world. He definitely observes you due to other reasons, Ganxing shouted. Qin Lai's expression became strange. We are invading this level of the extreme flame abyss. Our family's experts have issued challenges to many lords of the abyss, and the extreme flame abyss became a huge battlefield. Wuxia continued, Even so, the 3 great lords of the extreme flame abyss have not come out of their meditation on the rules of the abyss. As long as we don't permanently damage the foundations of the extreme flame abyss, and do not kill the high-rank abyss devils on a large scale, they will not be in a hurry to come out. Why is it? Qin Lai said in shock. The races of the abyss have great reproductive capabilities. Each day, each moment, many abyss devils are born. They grow through killing and eating each other. Low-rank abyss devils quickly grow strong. High-rank ones will kill to grow strong. In the eyes of the great lords of the abyss, those rank 9 abyss devils also need to grow through fighting through invasions of foreign races. The 3 great lords of extreme flame abyss advanced this way, without relying solely on their comprehension towards laws of the abyss. Our arrival to the great lords of the abyss is a kind of force pushing the rank 9 lords of the abyss towards rank 10 and great lord level. Oftentimes, they are happy to see us arrive, happy to see us fight the lords of the abyss. Of course, the precondition is that we do not have an absolute advantage, Wuxia said bitterly. Qin Lai listened carefully and seemed to understand some things. Then he casually said, Based on what you say, The Blaze family's invasion on the extreme flame abyss should not be going very smoothly? When he said this, Ganxing, Wuxia, Lu Yang, and Yen Feng revealed awkward expressions. Am I correct? Qin Lai was surprised. According to Ganxing, the great lords of the abyss of each level would only be awakened by great changes. The Blaze family had fought in the extreme flame abyss, yet none of the three great lords of the extreme flame abyss had stopped comprehending the abyss laws. What did this mean? It meant that the three great lords of the abyss did not consider Blaze family a real threat. What is it? Qin Lai asked again. He found Ganxing and the others were silent. The Blaze family is the weakest right now among the 5 families. Our family's flesh-filling tombstone had been lost, and the last family patriarch disappeared 20,000 years ago in the fight against the races of Spirit Realm. Ganxing hesitated and then showed a conflicted expression as he said unwillingly, "Due to all these reasons, our war in the extreme flame abyss is not as smooth as we expected. The great lords of the abyss don't even feel the need to act." After he said this, Wuxia and the others' expressions became even more downcast. Qin Lai rubbed his chin and looked deeply at them, not in a hurry to speak. Actually, when we invaded Spirit Realm, us and the Darkness family were the main forces. Ganxing sighed and continued, "In the last battle that we lost, the Darkness family left first and was not greatly impacted. Because we did not react fast enough, we had to fight against the 100 races of Spirit Realm and suffered great losses. Since leaving Spirit Realm, our family has been far weaker than the other 4 families. In the last 20,000 years, because of the disappearances of the last patriarch and the flesh-filling tombstone, we could not accumulate power fast enough. We have been left behind by the 4 families. That's why we still haven't won the war in Extreme Flame Abyss." Ganxing explained the situation. "The other families have already finished their invasions?" Qin Lai said in shock. "No, but they should be done soon. The 4 great lords of the abyss in the darkness abyss where cousin Song Yi is in have been forced to sign a non-interference agreement with the darkness family," Ganxing said. "What does non-interference mean?" Qin Lai asked curiously. "In the darkness abyss, many lords of the abyss have been killed. Many rank 8 and 7 abyss devils have also been killed. As the great lords of the darkness abyss, the 4 naturally should come and stop the darkness family. They did come out, but they were defeated by the rank 10 bloodline experts of the darkness family. After their defeat, they were forced into signing an agreement and allow the darkness family to continue their hunt of the devils on that level in compliance with the rules of the abyss. They know that when the darkness family gets enough fleshly energy, they will leave the darkness abyss. After 20 or 30,000 years, the low-rank abyss devils will naturally reach higher level. Many rank 7, 8 and 9 abyss devils will appear before long, and the balance will be restored. They will just be in a period of weakness and exhaustion for several dozen thousand years." Ganxing explained in detail. "Why not kill the 4 great lords of the abyss?" Qin Lai asked. Ganxing had a strange expression. He shook his head and grimaced. "They are the great lords of the darkness abyss. They are the first devils. It has been difficult enough for Darkness family to defeat them. On their home turf, Darkness family alone can't kill them. Also, to the Darkness family, the flesh of abyss devils of the darkness abyss is extremely beneficial. They will come back in 20,000 years to hunt in darkness abyss again. Why would they kill the chicken when they can keep coming back for eggs? They think of the darkness abyss as an eternal pasture?" Qin Lai reacted. The abyss devils had astounding reproductive abilities. They constantly fought one another and quickly transformed. Even if the experts of the darkness family won this time in the darkness abyss and slaughtered many high-rank abyss devils, they would not cause the darkness abyss's races to become extinct. After tens of thousands of years, they would become strong again, and many high-rank abyss devils would appear at that time. The experts of the darkness family may come again to hunt. For the darkness family, the flesh of the abyss devils of that level was very helpful to the breakthrough of their descendants' bloodlines. So they would not completely exterminate the darkness abyss devils. Actually, our Blaze family also uses the extreme flame abyss as an eternal pasture. 30,000 years ago, Before we first invaded Spirit Realm, we came here to hunt. At this time, Gan Xing's expression became tinged with pride. 30,000 years ago, the Blaze family was powerful and had many rank 9 and 10 bloodline experts. That invasion of the extreme flame abyss was one of absolute dominance. We hunted many high-rank abyss devils. At the time, extreme flame abyss only had 2 great lords of the abyss. They were forced to sign agreements. The profound ice family was greatly impacted when hunting in the ice stone abyss. Due to their losses, they did not store enough fleshly energy and left the battle against Spirit Realm. The Light and Bloodthirst families obtained Pyrrhic victories. By the time the Light and Bloodthirst families finally managed to achieve victory, we and the Darkness family had already conquered Spirit Realm. The Light family and Bloodthirst family could only give up on Spirit Realm. As you can see, the 5 families do not always succeed when we invade the abyss. Even the Darkness family has suffered great losses before in the Darkness Abyss. Their rank 10 bloodline experts were once defeated by the great lords of the abyss and they were forced to retreat. Gan Xing explained the details and found a logical explanation for the Blaze family's current losses in the extreme flame abyss. For some reason, when facing Qin Lai, a mixed blood, he did not want his family's glory to be diminished. Therefore, he could only use the past glory of the family to disguise their present defeat. So this is how it is. Qin Lai listened carefully and nodded. He understood now. Because of the loss of the last patriarch and the flesh-filling tombstone, and the Blaze family's great losses when fighting the races of Spirit Realm, they were still unable to recover up until the present days. So their actions in the extreme flame abyss were not so smooth. This meant that maybe the Blaze family could not make it to the invasion on Spirit Realm. If you continue, when the other families store enough fleshly energy, will they wait for you? Qin Lai asked. Gan Xing and the other shook their heads with dark expressions. So the Spirit Realm may be conquered by the other families? Qin Lai frowned. If there are no accidents, the Light family, Darkness family, Bloodthirst family, and Profound Ice family will invade Spirit Realm without us. Gan Xing thought for a moment and grimaced. We and the Darkness family have proven that Spirit Realm is a super large realm, has many passageways towards other realms, and many races of low-rank bloodline but high intelligence. For us, the God race, super large realms, connections to many small realms, and the intelligent races are very valuable. All 4 families will go? Qin Lai's expression changed. If we are more successful in the extreme flame abyss, our family will also come to Spirit Realm. We will not give the place that we had originally explored for them to rule and become their private domain, Gan Xing said solemnly. Qin Lai's mood immediately became heavy. 30,000 years ago, just Blaze family and Darkness family conquered Spirit Realm. Today, the 5 families of God race all thought of Spirit Realm as a piece of meat. They were going to come together. This was worse than the end of the world. Also, according to Gan Xing, the other 4 families had already succeeded in their abyss hunts and stored enough fleshly energies. This meant the 4 families would arrive soon. As the God race conquered outer realms, they made use of other races' advantages and became even more powerful. At this time, the families of the God race were stronger than 30,000 years ago. He couldn't help but be curious. What would the gold rank forces of Spirit Realm's central world think if they knew the current God race was much stronger than the force that had invaded 30,000 years ago? He didn't know if they had made any preparations. Gan Xing was frank about many things regarding the Blaze family. Thanks to him, Qin Lai learned that the Blaze family had become the weakest family out of all 5 great families of the God race. If the Blaze family couldn't resolve the war in the extreme flame abyss soon, they might even be excluded from the invasion of Spirit Realm. The other 4 families had become incredibly strong after 20,000 years of development and evolution. They would unleash the apocalypse the moment they entered Spirit Realm. Qin Lai felt pressure when he heard this. The Blaze family's bloodline runs in your veins, so you're a member of our family too. Even if you decide to stay out of this fight, you may still participate in the Blaze family's invasion of other realms. We will treat you just like we treat our own clansmen, Gan Xing said seriously. A flash suddenly passed through the gentle Wuxia's eyes. For example, we're conducting an operation in the extreme flame abyss, right? Qianlai looked surprised for a moment. If you contribute to the conquering of the extreme flame abyss, the family will reward you accordingly. We won't treat you unfairly no matter what, Wuxia reminded him. Ganxing smiled. She's right. If you don't want to help the family when we invade Spirit Realm, that's fine. You can join us now if you want to. You can earn a lot of merits by hunting down the Abyss Devils. So, are you interested? Lu Yang also suggested with a smile. Earlier, Ganxing managed to convince both Lu Yang and Wuxia to recruit Qianlai. Perhaps they were a little averse to the idea at the beginning, but after they had given witness to Qianlai's true strength, they both decided to acknowledge him in full. They believed that their 10-man squad would become a lot stronger after Qianlai joined them. It would be very beneficial to their plans to kill more Abyss Devils. Join you say? Qianlai frowned before shooting a glance at Yan Feng. Yan Feng let out a cold snort when he noticed his gaze. The god race respects no one but the strong. If you can prove your own worth, you'll be accepted no matter where you go. Yan Feng benefits too if your participation results in the successful hunting of many Abyss Devils. Ganxing smiled. He won't object to that. Ganxing knew Yan Feng very well. Yan Feng had a terrible temper and a lot of pride, but he also had some positive traits. For example, Yan Feng respected anyone who was stronger than him, so if someone took him down and proved their strength, he would know his place and become obedient. Right now, Ganxing was the captain of the 10-man squad precisely because he had taken the position from Yan Feng. Time proved that Yan Feng hadn't grown jealous of Ganxing. He hadn't purposely messed around during operations or gone against his instructions. "I'll like to sit on this for a moment," Qianlai replied. "Amen, that's not a problem. We'll be there processing the Devil Flame Golden Lions. If you wish to replenish your refined flesh and blood energy, you can come over and share our food if you want." Ganxing smiled. After he said this, he gave his 3 teammates a look and left the area with them. Qianlai remained at the volcano crater alone. He waited until Ganxing and his people were completely out of his line of sight before he moved sneakily away from them. He hid behind a volcanic rock pile some distance away from the volcano. Then, he tried to activate the Star Door latent ability. A tremendous amount of refined flesh and blood energy disappeared after he activated Star Door. A dazzling star-shaped door slowly came into existence. The outline of his soul beast avatar appeared on the other side of the Star Door. It was currently deepening its understanding of the soul race's secret arts. "So, I can still use Star Door." Qianlai relaxed as his eyes lit up, and a trace of joy flitted across his face at the same time. He was in the extreme flame abyss. It was entirely possible that the Frost Desolation Abyss was many abyss levels away, so he was worried that Star Door might not function here. But his attempt had proven that activating Star Door in the extreme flame abyss was not an impossibility even though it took a lot of bloodline power. This meant that he could summon his soul beast avatar should the need arise. His soul beast avatar was a rank 9 soul beast. He would be able to defend himself against anything aside from the 3 great lords of the abyss. Even if things were more dangerous than he imagined, he still could return to Boluo Realm instantly using Star Door. Of course, that was assuming that great lords of the abyss didn't interrupt him like last time. It should be fine. He pondered for a moment until an idea suddenly flashed through his mind. If he summoned an Azura soul servant to this abyss level, he could re-enter the extreme flame abyss through the Star Door anytime he wanted to in the future. The soul servant would act as a fixed coordinate. His soul servants, his soul beast avatar, and himself could fight in the extreme flame abyss whenever they felt like it in the future. He wouldn't need to limit himself to the Frost Desolation Abyss. In fact, he could build another realm entrance in the extreme flame abyss and transport the martial practitioners of the Land of Chaos, the races of Boluo Realm and Nether Realm here too. This is wonderful. Suddenly, he realized just how powerful and mysterious the 8-eyed demon spirit's bloodline ability Star Door was when used in tandem with the soul beast's soul control secret art. He cut off the outflow of bloodline power and allowed the Star Door to close. He had communicated with the soul beast avatar during the short period the Star Door was open. Right now, The soul beast at Baluo realm was transmitting his thoughts to his soul servants. After Zhuangjing had received his soul message at 7 Spirit Islands, she continued to supervise the creation of the blazing profound bombs and deliver them into the Frost Desolation Abyss. The spirit artifacts would be used to hunt down the Abyss Devils. The soul servants at the Frost Desolation Abyss informed Tang Beidou that he was currently in the Extreme Flame Abyss, but he could return any time he wanted. Thanks to his connection with his soul servants, he managed to keep everything in order even though his main body was currently at the Extreme Flame Abyss. His avatar would take care of everything else. It was only now he realized just how useful it was to have many avatars. Making up his mind to figure out more regarding the Blaze family, Qin Lai headed towards the God Race's camping spot. At the bottom of the volcano, Ganxing and his team cut apart the Devil Flame Golden Lion's flesh, separated its horns, heat-resistant skin and muscles accordingly and put them into storage. The Devil Flame Golden Lion's flesh was frozen inside special containers and stored inside their spatial rings. The Devil Flame Golden Lion's flesh was part of the flesh supplies they would use during their future invasion on Spirit Realm. In battle, all they needed to do was to consume a piece of the Devil Flame Golden Lion's flesh to swiftly recover their bloodline power. They could keep fighting for as long as their supply held. Unlike them, the other great families had the flesh-filling tombstones. They could refine and store fleshly energy inside the flesh-filling tombstone directly. If their clansmen used up too much bloodline power in battle, they could absorb refined flesh and blood energy from the flesh-filling tombstone directly. The exhausted clansmen would become instantly invigorated, recharged, and be able to fight at full power once more. If they had the recovery ability, they would be able to recover their wounds as well. Because the other 4 great God Race families had a flesh-filling tombstone each, they could recover faster than the Blaze family. Sigh, if we hadn't lost our flesh-filling tombstone, we wouldn't need to stock up on flesh. Lu Yang sighed. The 10-man squad was roasting a few chunks of flesh above a lava stream after they were done processing and storing the Devil Flame Golden Lion's flesh. It was quite easy to cook the Devil Flame Golden Lion's flesh once its skin had been stripped away. The 10-man squad was currently eating a few roasted meat and replenishing their refined flesh and blood energy. Ganxing, do you think he can be trusted? Yan Feng suddenly asked. Everyone in the squad stopped chatting and looked at Ganxing. Is he really joining us? One God Race clansman voiced his suspicions. We know the mixed bloods in our family. We know what kind of backgrounds they have and who their parents are. But this guy, we know nothing about him. So far, we only know that he's from Spirit Realm. What if he gets close to us because he plans to plot against the family? Ganxing knew what they were worried about. So he gave them a reassuring smile and replied, if we want to figure out his identity and his true thoughts, then it's only smart to keep him closer to us. A pause later, Ganxing continued, plus, we outnumber him 10-1. Don't tell me you're afraid of him? Amen. Once we get to know him, we should be able to figure him out. Wuxia nodded. Should we notify the family elders? Yan Feng asked. Ganxing thought for a moment before shaking his head. No, let's not. This is our first contact with him. We should show a bit of sincerity from our side. We can decide later after we get to know him as a person. All right? Yan Feng agreed helplessly. Ganxing's group chatted amongst themselves as they ate the Devil Flame Golden Lion's roasted flesh. A while later, Qin Lai appeared from the distance and stood amidst them. Ganxing smiled and tossed a chunk of meat about 5 kilograms heavy at Qin Lai from afar. Come over and eat with us. Qin Lai didn't act coy with him. He caught the cooked meat, sat down with the group and began tearing into the food. This is a flame crystal vein, and there are plenty of flame crystals left inside the walls. We'll collect them after we're done eating. Ganxing looked at the volcano Qin Lai had cultivated at for a long time and said, let's also memorize this place and return here after a couple dozens of years later. We'll be able to collect more flame crystals from this place. Amen. This flame crystal vein is extremely valuable. It automatically produces flame crystals every once in a while, and they're probably why those Devil Flame Golden Lions had shown up here. Unfortunately for them, we killed them all first. Wuxia said. Everyone, focus on recovering your strength. I know a place nearby filled with low-rank abyss devils, and we'll be hunting there very soon. Ganxing encouraged them. Lu Yang and the others echoed enthusiastically in acknowledgement. Yan Feng was the only one who looked a little wary and silent after Qin Lai had shown up. He never spoke a word to Qin Lai. He simply looked at him as if he was trying to see into Qin Lai's inner thoughts. Qin Lai ignored his gaze and chewed the cooked meat of the devil flame golden lion slowly. He too maintained his silence and said nothing throughout the meal. An hour later, everyone including Qin Lai had a full meal and recovered much of their refined flesh and blood energy. Ganxing led them away from the volcano. They were going to move on to a new hunting spot. Active volcanoes were everywhere in the extreme flame abyss. There were also plenty of burning ponds, deep ravines, and an innumerable amount of giant flaming rocks. Qin Lai was completely unfamiliar with the extreme flame abyss, so he knew nothing about the terrain, so he followed the 10-man squad without a word. Ganxing and his squad had obviously come here for a while. They were very familiar with their surroundings. Lu Yang, the woman with a sexy body and a bold personality, was the only one who actively introduced the extreme flame abyss to Qin Lai. Yan Feng, Wuxia, and a couple more god race clansmen who possessed fire souls in their bodies didn't dare move too close to Qin Lai. They didn't know Qin Lai, so they were probably going to stay wary until they figured out his temperament and true motives. Moreover, there was also the matter of the fire souls. They were afraid that the strange thing Qin Lai carried with him would suddenly jump out and devour the fire souls they possessed. That was why they treated Qin Lai with the utmost cautiousness. Lu Yang hadn't awakened the fire soul latent ability or nurtured a fire soul inside her body. That was why she wasn't as worried as the others. She kept giggling and throwing questions at Qin Lai along the way. She was obviously very curious about Qin Lai. For example, she wanted to know what other bloodline latent abilities he possessed, when he awakened to them, what level of strength the races of Spirit Realm were currently at, where were the forces located, and so on. She was extremely curious about Spirit Realm, the world that had once defeated the Blaze family. Qin Lai answered some of her questions and dodged the more sensitive ones with a smile and a moment of silence. Lu Yang wisely didn't push him for any answers he wasn't going to give. Of course, Qin Lai had asked a lot of questions regarding the extreme flame abyss and the Blaze family too. Her manner of response was identical to Qin Lai's. She gave him an answer on everything she could, but smiled and kept quiet about anything that touched on the Blaze family's secrets. And so the duo chatted with each other in this peculiar manner, responding to each other's needs while following leisurely behind Ganxing. Many times they were at the tail of the squad. Ganxing would occasionally turn around and look at them from the vanguard. He didn't do anything but smile at them when he did so. Every time Yan Feng looked at them, his face looked a little dark and moody. "Is he courting you?" Qin Lai pointed at Yan Feng before giving Lu Yang a half-smile. "In the past, the two of you often hanged around each other, right?" "That's true," Lu Yang admittedly openly. "He's a loose guy though. I'm not the only one in the family he's courting, you know?" Qin Lai gave his opinion after the small surprise had worn off. "He's not a bad fighter, and his looks aren't too bad either. He should be quite popular, right?" "Not a bad fighter?" Lu Yang's eyes twirled as she smiled at him. "Unless I'm mistaken, you're stronger than him, aren't you?" "Hee. Say, do you think he'll hate me for beating him?" Qin Lai asked. "We, the Blaze family, are straightforward people. We don't usually use trickery or plot behind someone's back. Yan Feng may not have a good temper, but he's a true member of the Blaze family. He's a good person, and he's not likely to stir up trouble behind someone's back." Lu Yang looked rather serious when she said this. "Even if he hates you, he'll challenge you and defeat you fairly by normal means. We've always settled our internal conflicts through brute force, you know?" "So you mean whoever is stronger is right?" Qin Lai looked surprised. "Of course." Lu Yang nodded matter-of-factly. "Back then, Yan Feng was the captain of our 10-man squad. Later on, Ganxing came, challenged Yan Feng to a fight and won, claiming the leadership position from him. Since then, Yan Feng had been the vice-captain of our squad. He had challenged Ganxing 3 times in the past to reclaim his position, but he hadn't succeeded thus far. So that's why he was the vice captain all this time? Qinlai laughed. That's right. He took my spot and became vice captain of the squad until today. Lu Yong snorted as a powerful ripple of fiery energy suddenly spread out from her. When I can create 5 rings of the burning sun at the same time, I'll challenge Yen Feng to a fight and reclaim my position as the vice captain. Is this how the entire Blaze family decide their duties? Qinlai laughed loudly. Does that mean I can replace Ganxing as the captain of the squad immediately if I beat him? Sure you can. However, you must first become a member of the Blaze family, Lu Yang said meaningfully. In that case, forget it, I'm not ready to meet the elders of the Blaze family just yet. Qinlai rubbed his nose and laughed awkwardly. Stop! Ganxing suddenly raised his hand high and yelled somewhat seriously. What's wrong? Lu Yang asked loudly from behind. Ganxing turned around to look at her and Qinlai. There may be high-rank devils operating around the area. High-rank devils. Lu Yang's expression changed slightly. Amen. We need to watch out and avoid becoming their prey. Ganxing said seriously. High-rank devils are the descendants of the first devils. They are... Lu Yang hurriedly tried to explain things to Qinlai. However, Qinlai cut her off and said, I know that high-rank devils are abyss devils whose bloodline is as strong as ours. Qinlai examined his surroundings while spreading out his soul thought in the form of a ripple. The 10-man squad led by Ganxing also stopped advancing and gathered around each other quickly. Right now, they were surrounded by a range of extinct volcanoes. Dark red volcanoes were everywhere, looking almost like giant tombs. The ground looked as red as blood, and there were plenty of reddish-brown rocks and dried lava ponds on the ground. However, not a single plant or traces of life could be seen anywhere. The sky above their heads were red. It was as if the clouds themselves were burning alive. Everyone heeded Ganxing's warning seriously and probed the area for any life signs. Wisps of invisible soul thoughts swept through the area while spreading further and further away. Qinlai's soul thoughts were the fastest of them all. It took him only an instant to spread it to the furthest area. His soul thought was powered by thunder and lightning, and his soul was more powerful than normal because he had the Soul Beast avatar. Both his soul energy and coverage far exceeded Ganxing and the others. How do you know there's a high-rank abyss devil nearby? After observing the surroundings for a moment, Lu Yang walked over from the back and threw the question at Ganxing. Ganxing didn't say anything. He simply pointed to the middle of an extinct volcano. There were a pile of dark reddish bones in the middle of that extinct volcano. The bones were not easily identifiable because their color was the same as the mountain itself. Lu Yang noticed that the bones were aligned in a strange way only after Ganxing had pointed it out to her. A serious glance told her immediately that the bones were aligned to form some sort of secret formation. A high-rank abyss devil had made the secret formation based on a first devil's understanding of the laws of the abyss. Lu Yang immediately knew that Ganxing's decisions were spot on. Qinlai turned to look at the pile of bones that had been aligned into a formation. He also sent a wisp of soul thought down that direction at the same time. His soul thought had just gotten close to that strange formation when a thick fiery aura spilled out all of a sudden. An orange flame quietly appeared from within the formation. Bit by bit, a human-shaped high-rank abyss devil materialized into existence from the flame that was only as big as a fingernail. When the high-rank abyss devil had appeared completely, the geocenter of the surrounding volcanoes suddenly trembled a little. Ganxing's expression changed drastically as he yelled, "That devil is evolving its bloodline using the geocenter of the volcanoes." Qinlai abruptly came to realization. It was incredibly likely that a high-rank abyss devil was hiding in this mountain range and evolving its bloodline in secret. The abyss devil had also left behind a strange formation in the middle of the volcano so that he could observe his surroundings and be warned of any intruders as soon as possible. Qinlai and everyone in the squad had spread their soul thoughts outward. Since everyone was scanning for activity as far away from their current area as possible, no one had checked underground and noticed the anomaly. The strange formation made of dark reddish bones had probably been operating all this time. The high-rank abyss devil might very well have noticed them the moment they arrived. When Qin Lai extended his soul thought towards the strange formation earlier, the Abyss Devil thought that he was planning to destroy it. That was why he had manifested his own soul to stop it and inadvertently exposed himself. Retreat! Ganxing's yelled. This devil is trying to evolve its bloodline to rank 9. Even if he fails the attempt, he's still a peak rank 8 Abyss Devil. He's not someone we can beat as we are. Yen Feng and the others looked obviously frightened by this revelation. A peak rank 8 high rank Abyss Devil was the equal of a rank 8 God Race warrior. Since this particular devil was trying to evolve to rank 9, he should be even stronger than that. A high-rank Abyss Devil this powerful wasn't something their 10-man squad could handle. That was why Ganxing's reactive command was for them to retreat immediately. Qin Lai was still examining the strange formation curiously. He didn't panic like the rest of the God Race squad. "Come on, let's go." Lu Yang was standing close to Qin Lai. When she noticed that he was blanking out where he stood, she anxiously grabbed his arm and tried to drag him into the air. A stumble later, Qin Lai finally awoken from his thoughts and flew steadily behind her. He didn't want to reveal his trump cards or summon his soul servants and soul beast avatar. He didn't want to part ways with the God Race squad so soon either. Also, he was only at rank 7 bloodline right now. Even if with the cooperation of the 10-man God Race squad, it would still be very difficult for them to kill a high-rank Abyss Devil that was about to reach rank 9. That was why he wisely decided to leave with Lu Yang and the others. However, as they were moving away from the strange formation, the strange orange flame at the center of the strange formation was growing bigger and bigger. The devilish shadow of the high-rank Abyss Devil inside the flame grew bigger as well. At the same time, a fiery energy spread out from the center of the formation. This is bad. He's already awakened. He's decided to stop his evolution temporarily, Ganxing shouted. Qin Lai abruptly looked behind him. SSSSS. The tiny flame at the center of the formation had grown into a huge fireball. After the orange fireball had pulled free from the strange formation, it floated away from the middle of the extinct volcano and flew straight towards the squad like a giant, burning meteor. The devilish shadow inside the fireball slowly grew clearer and clearer. It was obviously the physical body of the high-rank Abyss Devil. It had successfully crawled out of the geocenter of the extinct volcanoes using the flame. Your luck is truly terrible, younglings of the Blaze family. You shouldn't have ventured into the place I've chosen to evolve my bloodline. The high-rank Abyss Devil could be seen stretching its body leisurely inside the fireball. It was obviously getting ready for slaughter. Although Ganxing's 10-man squad had reacted in time, they obviously weren't as fast as a peak rank 8 Abyss Devil. It was only a matter of time before they were caught up by him. Suddenly, Qin Lai struggled free from Lu Yang's grasp and came to a stop. "Go! I have a way to delay him and escape later," Qin Lai yelled. He immediately activated the silver moon imprint on his shoulder and summoned the divine grade spirit artifact, Moon Tear. 9 crescent moons flew out of the silver moon imprint. Pure, cool moonlight spilled from the crescent moons. They looked and felt incredibly sharp. The moon tear transformed into 8 moon blades that could cut through anything. He controlled them with his soul and fired them straight at the high-rank Abyss Devil. A divine grade artifact. The peak rank 8 Abyss Devil suddenly grew excited when he saw the frosty light emanating from Moon Tear. High-rank Abyss Devils like him normally had unique uses for high-rank artifacts. He also knew that high-grade artifacts were extremely precious. Intelligent Abyss Devils like him had connections in other realms. Even if Moon Tear didn't match his power, he could always trade with other races for something else. Every divine grade artifact was invaluable to say the least. He could easily exchange it for a large amount of precious materials that didn't exist in the Abyss. He was certain that the divine grade artifact could be traded for an ultimate treasure that was useful for the evolution of its bloodline. Moreover, the owner of this divine grade artifact was just a rank 7 god race brat. If he could capture Qin Lai alive, he might even be able to ransom him for even more precious items. His excitement swelled when he thought up to this point. He thought that his decision to stop the evolution temporarily was incredibly wise. A divine grade artifact. He actually has a divine-grade artifact. The Abyss Devil wasn't the only one who was surprised. Ganxing and his squad were absolutely shocked to find Qianlai wielding a divine-grade artifact. They all knew how precious a divine-grade artifact was. "What do we do, Ganxing?" Lu Yang yelled. "The 10 of us, him and a divine-grade artifact. Is it possible for us to beat that devil?" His squadmates looked at him and awaited his decision too. A heavy look visited Ganxing's handsome face. A moment later, he yelled, "We'll stay and fight together with him." "All right." Everyone, even Yen Feng, had turned around and moved into position. They quickly formed a formation meant to be used during a hard fight. The peak rank 8 Abyss Devil was called Acarus. His tall body was hidden in the enormous ball of fire as he excitedly awaited the arrival of Moon Tier. Recently, as the Blaze family invaded the Extreme Flame Abyss, the Lords of the Abyss were engaged in fights against the experts of the Blaze family. The area that Acarus was living at earlier had been in the midst of a contested area, and the battle would not stop for a moment. Even though his bloodline had finished transforming, he, who was advancing into the realm of the Lords of the Abyss, was forced to leave his home. In the end, he chose this area far from the battlefield. Acarus was a high-ranking Abyss Devil, and his bloodline originated from a First Devil. He was born with extremely high intelligence, and he knew how to avoid danger. Also, the Extreme Flame Abyss was connected to other realms. Every once in a while, some merchants from deep within the universe would come to the Extreme Flame Abyss to do business with high-ranking Abyss Devils like him. As long as he could bring enough to trade with these merchants, he could acquire valuable materials suitable for the advancement of his bloodline. But while he was a high-ranking Abyss Devil, he was not wealthy. The materials he had gathered in his life were not worth very much. The merchants from other realms did not want them. This caused his bloodline advancement to not be very smooth. The Moon Tear Qianlai released this time appeared to be a divine-grade artifact judging from its aura, and therefore had to be extremely valuable. If he could obtain Moon Tear, he would be able to trade for many valuable materials to advance his bloodline. He was extremely excited. "You still will not leave?" Qianlai released the Moon Tear and prepared to use the bloodline of the 8-eyed demon spirit to open the star door when Ganxing and the others left. Qianlai, who was summoning the soul servants to fight, saw Ganxing and the other turn back and shouted urgently. He did not want to reveal himself so early. He did not want to summon the soul slaves in front of Ganxing and the others. "We cannot watch by as you die," Ganxing said gravely. As he spoke, this group of 10 had formed a formation and were heading towards him. "Come between us," Lu Yang shouted. Qianlai grimaced inside. "Release all the power of the divine-grade artifact. With all of us together, we might have a chance," Wuxia shouted. He and Yen Feng had summoned their fire souls. A vermilion bird and a dragon burst out of their bodies. At the same time, Ganxing activated Flame World and enveloped all of them. Within the Flame World, the strength of this 10-person squad immediately increased greatly. Even the fire souls became energetic and ferocious within Flame World. At this time, Moon Tear, which had turned into a moon blade, shot onto that flame ball like lightning. Boom, boom, boom. The moon blade fell on the flame ball like a giant stone on a drum. The flame ball gave off ear-deafening rumbles but did not shatter. Within the flame ball, Acarus laughed wildly and said, "You have a divine-grade artifact, but it match your bloodline power at all. You cannot manifest the true power of this artifact." Boom! Beside Acarus, an enormous dead volcano suddenly exploded. Qianlai looked and seemed to see that a cold moonlight flashed through that erupting volcano. His mind shifted, and he mentally communicated with Yu Yi to ask what the situation was. Yu Ye's soul was hidden inside a moon blade as it charged towards the flame ball. After receiving the mental message, Yu Yi immediately responded and explained the situation. This guy's bloodline power seems to be greatly connected to the Earth of Extreme Flame Abyss. He uses an unknown method to move the momentum of Moon Tear to the surrounding dead volcanoes. Boom, boom, boom. Another dead volcano exploded next to Acarus, also with the aura of Moon Tear. This meant that Acarus was using his mysterious bloodline power to transfer the great power of Moon Tear into those volcanoes. Come back, Qin Lai ordered. The 9 teardrop moon blades suddenly turned into 9 rays of light that flew back from the ball of flame. Floating in the air, Qin Lai's expression darkened. He shouted again at Ganxing and the others, "Go first! Do not worry about me. You refused to leave. Now, you can forget about escaping." Icarus laughed. The flaming ball, which was like a meteor, flew above them in the sky. "Come here, quick!" Lu Yong called to Qin Lai from the ground, wanting Qin Lai to join their group. "Enter my flame world," Ganxing shouted. Qin Lai looked down deeply at them and said, "You refuse to leave, then I will." Ganxing and the others were stunned. At this time, Qin Lai's body flashed with lightning, and thunder roared inside his body. A bolt of lightning flashed into the distance. When Ganxing and the others reacted, they found that Qin Lai's figure had disappeared after the lightning appeared. "Damn it!" Yan Feng cursed. The reason that they had dared to remain was mostly they saw that Qin Lai possessed a divine-grade artifact. They wanted to use the power of the divine-grade artifact along with their secret techniques to seriously injure Icarus. They definitely had not expected Qin Lai to suddenly flee. Icarus also stilled. He thought that Qin Lai and Ganxing's group belonged to the same god race team, had a close relationship. But Qin Lai suddenly left. "No! The divine-grade artifact is in his hands." Icarus only hesitated slightly before deciding to abandon Ganxing and the others to chase Qin Lai. One reason being Qin Lai possessing divine-grade artifact, the other being Qin Lai himself. He thought that Qin Lai, who had a divine-grade artifact, would have an outstanding status in the Blaze family, and could bring him the greatest benefits. He chased after Qin Lai's aura. The 10-person group, led by Ganxing, watched dazedly as he immediately disappeared from their sight just like Qin Lai. On the other side, Qin Lai, who had used the 8-eyed demon spirit's bloodline and the Blitz Thunder escape to flee, moved further away. He slowly grew further away from Ganxing and the others. As he used Blitz Thunder escape, he deliberately controlled his power. He continued to remain in Icarus's perceptive range. He was purposefully luring Icarus. After a dozen times, he stopped above a dead volcano and waited calmly. The divine-grade artifact Moon Tear hung clearly above his head and released its sharp aura. He waited silently for Icarus to arrive. 10 minutes later, Icarus came ferociously in his flame ball. He suddenly stilled. Above the volcano, Qin Lai was smiling without any fear, and even mockery in his eyes. Icarus suddenly felt that something was not quite right. Icarus did not charge him. The flame ball he was in floated silently in the air. He examined Qin Lai from afar. At this time, Qin Lai stood at the entrance to the dead volcano with a smile on his face. The bright light released by the divine-grade artifact Moon Tear above his head shone like a star. Qin Lai did not show any signs of his bloodline reaching the end of its strength. Without having used all of his power, why did he suddenly stop and wait here calmly? Icarus's expression was dark as he became wary. He suspected that god race experts were hiding nearby. He started to inspect the surroundings with his soul. Icarus's soul restlessly moved through the dead volcanoes like a spreading carpet. Dozens of seconds later, a hint of puzzlement appeared in his eyes. He did not feel any soul ripple or life sign. His bloodline was connected to the earth of the extreme flame abyss. As long as a biomagnetic field of a powerful being was nearby, he could feel it. That is, unless there was a rank 10 bloodline expert hiding somewhere concealing their presence. Of course, people who were of that level did not need to hide themselves and could kill him instantly. He was certain there were no god race experts hiding nearby. After confirming, he immediately sighed in relief. His nervousness and anxiousness faded. "Boy, did you realize you couldn't run away, so you stayed?" he snickered. Qin Lai grinned and said, "Yes. Give me that divine-grade artifact and then let yourself be captured. I will spare your life." Icarus became excited. "You hold a divine-grade artifact, you must have high status in the Blaze family. Who are your parents?" "Haha. I think your life is very valuable." Qin Lai stilled and then looked with a strange expression at him. He said, "You are very greedy. According to what I know, The Abyss Devils of the Extreme Flame Abyss are fighting with the Blaze family. When the two sides meet, they will fight to the death. As a high-rank Abyss Devil, you do not immediately kill members of the Blaze family on sight. You only want to capture them alive to take their possessions. You really are a weirdo among the Abyss Devils. All the bloodlines of the high-rank Abyss Devils originated from rank 9 and rank 10 First Devils. All Lords of the Abyss were descendants of at least rank 9 Lords of the Abyss. The Lords of the Abyss could be considered rulers of their respective Abyss levels. They ruled over many low-rank Abyss Devils and accumulated great wealth. Lords of the Abyss were not frugal to their direct descendants. Also, this Abyss Devil possessed rank 8 bloodline that would soon evolve to the level of the Lords of the Abyss. He was a promising descendant. His elders would have made preparations for the transformation of his bloodline. This person chose the most remote place when his bloodline was transforming and did not have the protection of his elders. This was very strange. Also, he was so greedy. He did not try to fight and kill members of the Blaze family on sight like the majority of Abyss Devils. This all seems strange. All these points caused Xianxia to feel a thread of interest in this high-rank Abyss Devil. Only Abyss Devils whose bloodlines reach rank 9 can be called Lords of the Abyss, and only Lords of the Abyss can rule over an area of their own, as well as recruit subordinates. Acarus's expression was not good as he snorted and said, "When my bloodline reaches rank 9 and I become a Lord of the Abyss, I will be able to rule over an area in the Extreme Flame Abyss, and summon low-rank Abyss Devils to swear loyalty to me. But right now, my bloodline has not reached rank 9, so I can only rely on myself." Xianxia casually asked, "What about your elders? The progenitor of your bloodline? Should they not help you?" Acarus's expression dimmed. "Even the great Lords of the Abyss can die, let alone rank 9 Lords of the Abyss? The progenitor of my bloodline was killed in a fight 10,000 years ago against another great lord. The other ate his flesh and blood, but died long ago. Should I rely on a dead soul? No wonder." Xianxia nodded gently. Because Acarus's bloodline progenitor had died long ago, he could not receive any help. Maybe because of this, he chose such a remote place for his bloodline to transform, and he was so greedy for wealth. He wanted to use the transformation to rank 9 to change his fate. If your bloodline reaches rank 9, and you become a Lord of the Abyss, will you go to find the person who killed the progenitor of your bloodline for revenge? Xianxia asked curiously. Revenge? Acarus stilled. He shook his head and said, "I have no enmity with him. He killed your bloodline progenitor. You were in poverty for almost 10,000 years, and you had to fight for your breakthrough. Do you not hate him?" Xianxia was shocked. "You do not understand us at all." Acarus's eyes were filled with disdain. "Only bloody battle can stimulate our bloodline to evolve, so we can ascend to higher ranks. The races of the Abyss Devils will forever continue to fight and kill when no outsiders are present. Our battle is not victory and defeat, but life and death. Bodies of the fallen will be eaten, and further strengthen the victor. This is the law of the Abyss. We will not hate the victor because this is the bloody law of the Abyss. When I reach rank 9 and become a Lord of the Abyss, I will accumulate power. If I want to evolve again, I will challenge other Lords of the Abyss. At that time, I may come out victorious, or lose and be devoured. If one wants to become the ultimate ruler of this Abyss, to become a great Lord of the Abyss, you have to be prepared to die." The 3 great Lords of the Extreme Flame Abyss defeated Abyss Devils of similar rank in countless battles, and consumed their flesh to ascend to rank 10 bloodline. On their path to becoming great Lords of the Abyss, I do not know how many rank Lords of the Abyss were killed in battle and eaten. This kind of battle in pursuit of bloodline follows the rules of the Abyss. There will not be any hatred. Acarus looked coldly at Xianxia, his voice filled with disdain. "We will only feel hatred when fighting against outsiders like you." Xianxia heard his explanation. He was about to speak when his mind shifted slightly. He once again felt that he was being observed. There seemed to be a pair of eyes in the darkness that would focus on him once in a while. He did not know that Enos had come to the Extreme Flame Abyss, and could feel his location using her bloodline through the soul thread of the Great Lord of the Frost Desolation Abyss. I do not know why I waste time explaining this to you. Icarus felt that he was strange and thought he was wasting words with Qianlai. Give me the divine grade artifact, do not resist. I will take you to get enough valuable materials from your parents. Whether my bloodline can transform to rank 9 will depend on you and your divine grade artifact. Your luck is really not good. Qianlai suddenly laughed. Among the laughter, he activated the Star Door latent ability in the 8-eyed demon spirit's bloodline. A bright light formed behind him. A realm door. Icarus changed expression. He finally understood why Qianlai had no fear. At this moment, the Azura race Void Realm soul slaves led by Curtis came out of the Star Door. Curtis and the others immediately spread out and surrounded Icarus after passing through the Star Door. Before they came, Qianlai had already given them orders mentally. Due to that, they immediately released their soul altars after surrounding Icarus. They used secret arts to restrain this part of the world to prevent Icarus from escaping. They anchored the restraining power in the earth. Through Qianlai's warning, they knew that Icarus's bloodline had a connection to the earth of the extreme flame abyss. How can you easily open a realm entrance? And here, and not the abyss passageway, Icarus shouted. He understood the Blaze family well, as this family came frequently to the extreme flame abyss to hunt. He had interacted with them frequently. He knew that almost none of the Blaze family members were skilled in spatial power, and the Blaze family could not awaken any talent related to space in their bloodline. Due to this, almost none of the Blaze family members would waste their energies on spatial arts. Therefore, he had never imagined that Qianlai could open a realm entrance. I am very different from the Blaze family members you are familiar with. Qianlai grinned. He narrowed his eyes and said, "Capture him alive." The soul slaves led by Curtis received the order and charged at Icarus. Icarus howled angrily. The flame ball he was in suddenly turned burning hot. Qianlai did not look at him, but used his soul perception to find what in the surroundings was making him anxious. However, when he tried to detect that source of his anxiousness, the feeling of being observed disappeared again. Strange. He was puzzled. Maybe because he detected something was wrong. He released Curtis and the others early to take care of Icarus as soon as possible. He had great interest in Icarus, this high-rank and intelligent abyss devil. He even wanted to have the soul beast avatar enslave him. Only a high-rank devil like Icarus would be worthy of the soul beast wasting soul power to enslave him. The abyss devils with rank 8 bloodlines like the silver-eyed snake devils were powerful, but their intelligence was limited, and they did not have enough soul power. If he enslaved a silver-eyed snake devil, he would only have a vicious monster to fight, but nothing else. Icarus was different. This guy was a high-rank abyss devil. Once he was enslaved, Qianlai could use him for many things. Because of this, Qianlai decided to capture him alive rather than kill him. Icarus was completely covered by that flame ball. Curtis and the others sat on their soul altars, constantly casting secret bloodline arts of the Azura race to attack that flame ball. Many dark shadows, extremely cold cyclones, and flashing lightning smashed onto the ball of fire. Inside the flaming sphere, Icarus's body twisted violently as he furiously roared. But the ball of flame did not burst. As the blows kept coming, the surrounding dead volcanoes started to roar again as though they were taking damage for him. But this abyss devil was only at rank 8. He had not fully ascended into the ranks of Lords of the Abyss. Facing Void Realm experts like Curtis, even if he used his natural bloodline to completely defend, he would only be able to survive for a dozen seconds. Boom! That enormous flame ball finally exploded under the barrage of attacks. The figure of Icarus, who had been hiding within the sphere of flames, was exposed to Qianlai and the others. "Capture him alive," Qianlai ordered. Curtis laughed sinisterly. The 6th-level soul altar under him suddenly dropped down towards Icarus. A great attractive force formed at the bottom of the 6th-level soul altar to securely restrain Icarus. At the same time, Qianlai formed the star door again and let Curtis throw Icarus to the other side. At the other side was the soul beast avatar. Acarus would not be able to escape from the Soul Beast avatar. He wanted to see if his comprehension of the Soul Race's secret arts had reached his estimates through Acarus. If his Soul Beast avatar could successfully enslave Acarus, he would have reached the level required to enslave the first voodoo insect as well. To him, Acarus was the best experiment. Soul Race! Acarus screamed in terror before he was consumed by the star door. At the other end of the star door, among the surging soul presence, the appearance of the Soul Beast was exposed. As a high-rank devil, he clearly knew the origin of the Soul Race. After realizing there was an expert of the Soul Race on the other side of the star door, he immediately knew what fate awaited him. Curtis, stay here temporarily. I have to take care of some matters. Qianlai turned and ordered. Curtis nodded. The star door made from the eight-eyed demon spirit's bloodline latent ability suddenly changed, and showed Zhuangjing's figure at the other side. Qianlai led the Azura race soul slaves to pass through. Return to the Frost Desolation Abyss. Qianlai ordered them. These soul slaves had been at the Frost Desolation Abyss helping Miao Fengtian forge corpse demons. He had moved these people from the Frost Desolation Abyss to the Extreme Flame Abyss with the Star Door latent ability. After resolving the matter of Acarus, he had Curtis guard the Extreme Flame Abyss, and used the soul as a locator to return to Baluo realm through Zhuangjing. Greetings, Master. Zhuangjing saw the star door appear and knew he was going to arrive. When his figure appeared, she called out with a smile on her face. Recently, Zhuangjing had been acting as Qianlai's representative and passing Qianlai's orders on Seven Spirits Island. After leaving the Serene Moon Race, Zhuangjing now lived on Seven Spirits Islands and had a tower belonging to her. Only she and Lin Jie lived in this tower. Once she received mental orders from Qianlai, she would immediately contact Gu Rongguang and have Gu Rongguang pass them on. She was a pair of eyes Qianlai had arranged on Seven Spirits Islands. Through her eyes, Qianlai could know the situation of Baluo realm and Land of Chaos. Through her, he could communicate with Song Tingyu and Tang Siki so they would advance based on his plans. Where is Lin Jie? Qianlai suddenly asked. Zhuangjing was slightly puzzled and said, Master, what do you need to find her for? At this time, the Azura race soul slaves had moved towards the white-bone sacrificial altar following Qianlai's rules. They were going to return through the realm door to Frost Desolation Abyss. Only she and Qianlai were left in the room. As she spoke, she bashfully moved towards Qianlai and grabbed Qianlai's thick arm with a red face. She said, Master, are you interested in Lin Jie? That girl has recently admired me. She is very curious about the advancement of my bloodline. If Master wants her, I can arrange it for you. As she spoke, she brushed her chest light against Qianlai's arm, her eyes full of emotion. Ever since her last night with Qianlai, and advancing to rank 7 bloodline from rank 6, Zhuangjing anticipated the next time. She hoped to advance her bloodline power faster through Qianlai. The bloodline she had came from the Serene Moon Race. The stronger her bloodline, the more moon power she could absorb from the 9 moons of Baluo realm. This would be of great help to the advancement of her cultivation. She had always been ambitious and wanted to strengthen herself. In the past, she had worked hard. Right now, when she found that her and Qianlai's union was a very effective shortcut, she had other thoughts. Is Lin Jie unable to return to Lunar Temple at all? As he enjoyed Zhuangjing's fawning, Qianlai asked, What does she think? She and I cannot return, Zhuangjing said softly. I need a soul slave. I need her to be on Flaming Sun Island to help pass on messages at any time. I need her as a steady soul location. Qianlai narrowed his eyes and lifted Zhuangjing's round chin with his hand. He said, If she is willing to be enslaved, I do not need her body. I will give her pure soul power so that she will never have to worry about soul power in her breakthroughs. Also, while she is enslaved, I will be responsible for all the materials she needs for cultivation. Even if she reaches the imperishable realm in the future, I will prepare all the spirit materials necessary for creating a soul altar. Baluo realm and the Land of Chaos were all important lands he controlled. He needed 2 steady soul beacons in these 2 places to pass on his soul messages at any time. The soul slaves of Azura race were at the imperishable realm at the weakest. They would be a waste to use as soul beacons. Also, they were of the Azura race. It was not suitable for them to live long among the human race. Due to this, he needed a human to be a soul beacon and become another pair of eyes for him stationed on Flaming Sun Island. You do not want her body? Zhuang Jing was surprised. I need her to be another pair of eyes for me, Qinlai said. I will talk to Lin Jie about this, and explain the conditions to see if she is willing. Zhuang Jing nodded. There is something you have to explain clearly. Once the soul agreement is formed, it will be hard for her to get rid of me in this lifetime. You have to make sure she understands this, Qinlai said solemnly. I will. Zhuang Jing nodded docilely. At this time, her hand had trailed along Qinlai's chest to his waist. Qinlai took a deep breath, lifted Zhuang Jing up and walked towards Zhuang Jing's bedroom. After a turbulent storm, Qinlai walked out Zhuang Jing's tower towards the secret realm entrance leading towards the land of chaos. Just as he walked out, he saw Lin Jie coming from afar. Under the night light, Lin Jie seemed to be dressed in moonlight as the moon power flowed from her. Evidently, Lin Jie had been using the moonlight of Baluo Realm's night to cultivate secret arts in another place. This was why she had such clear moonlight on her. Greetings, Island Master Qin. Seeing Qinlai walked out of the room, Lin Jie was shocked and then bowed. She saw that Qinlai's clothing was in disarray. Her mind shifted and she subconsciously glanced into the room. She found that Zhuang Jing had not come to bid farewell. She immediately knew that Qinlai and Zhuang Jing must have had an encounter previously. A flush made its way onto Lin Jie's face. Qinlai glanced at her, nodded, and left without a word. Lin Jie watched him as he disappeared before returning to the tower and coming to Zhuang Jing's bedroom. Inside the bedroom, the air was filled with scent and traces of the recent events. Zhuang Jing covered her body with a blanket. All the parts of her body exposed outside were naked. Senior sister, your fight was really fierce. Lin Jie twisted her mouth and said sourly. This time, what did you obtain through him? The flush had no faded from Zhuang Jing's face as she said lazily, Junior sister, do not say that senior sister does not take care of you. Now there is a shortcut in front of you, it just depends on how you will choose. She narrowed Qinlai's words and told Lin Jie Qinlai's intentions for Lin Jie to decide. If he wants me to be his sole slave, he has to come say it to me personally, and not through you, Lin Jie said hatefully. Why did he do it through you? Oh, I understand. The next time he comes, I will have him talk to you, Zhuang Jing said with a small smile. Qinlai first came to Soul Summoning Island through Baluo Realm's secret realm entrance, and then to Evil Infant Island. When he appeared on Evil Infant Island, he caused the martial practitioners of Flaming Sun Island to shout. Yuan quickly came over. Has that super-large teleportation formation to Central World been finished? Qinlai asked directly. Before he led the martial practitioners of the Land of Chaos to invade the Frost Desolation Abyss, Evil Infant Boy, Tang Siki, Mo Hai, Yao Tai, and the other artificers were building a super-large teleportation formation towards Central World. He thought if Evil Infant Boy's plan did not have any problems, they should have successfully built the teleportation formation by now. It has been successful, Yuan said with a smile. Very good. Qinlai became energized. On Soul Summoning Island, inside the White Bone Nether Spirit Altar of Tate, there was a teleportation formation connected to the Nether continent. This teleportation formation seemed extremely important to Nether Realm. It could not always stay on Soul Summoning Island and it only connected to the Nether continent. That was not what Qinlai needed. He needed a super-large teleportation formation connected to Spirit Realm's Central World, one that would be useful for his future actions. Hearing that Evil Infant Boy and the others had built such a teleportation formation, he became excited. This meant the artificers of Flaming Sun Island had made great breakthroughs in terms of teleportation formations. His decision of letting Evil Infant Boy see the ancient diagrams was not a waste. Under Yuan's directions, he quickly came to the super-large teleportation formation that Evil Infant Boy, Mo Hai, Tang Siki, Yao Tai, and the other artificers had built. This teleportation formation was almost 300 meters wide. It used the fate crystals, phantasm stones, ethereal jade, frost star stones, and other spatial spirit materials as base. Those stones were inscribed with exquisite diagrams, and there were spirit diagrams engraved inside as well. The spatial spirit stones were placed in the grooves on the teleportation formation to provide power. The entire teleportation formation was a hexagon shape. Each corner gave off strong spatial vibrations. At this moment, only evil infant boy was stationed here and saw Qianlai's arrival. He snickered, his face full of undisguised pride. "We did not fail, Island Master. We successfully built this super-large teleportation formation. Good job." Qianlai's eyes were full of appreciation. He said with a smile, "For your next step, you can consider developing towards secret realm entrances. And see if you can build secret realm entrances between different realms." "That is not so easy," evil infant boy said bitterly. "Small, mid, large, super-large teleportation formations, secret realm realm entrances. This is the path you have to advance on." Qianlai grinned and said, "Creating a super-large teleportation formation means your talent and abilities are enough. You only have to keep studying and you will achieve breakthrough. We were able to build this teleportation formation because my good senior brother sent over the records master had left behind about spatial arts." Evil infant boy sighed and said, "Even my master only had understanding of teleportation formations within the same realm. And he, in the past, was unable to build super-large teleportation formations. I received his entire inheritance, the ancient diagrams you showed me, and the intelligence of Mo Hai, Miss Tang, and Yao Tai to build this super-large teleportation formation." He paused and then said, "Also, we are just able to connect to the teleportation formation of the Nether Continent. I do not know if others are possible." Before the teleportation formation was built, Qin family notified the Ling family on Nether Continent, and had them allow evil infant boy to build with the Nether Continent's teleportation formation as the destination. Evil infant boy and the others built this super-large teleportation formation but only actually connected over there. They did not have the coordinates for the other teleportation formations in Central World, and could not test. They did not know if this teleportation formation could connect to others. There should be no problems. Qianlai smiled and told the spatial coordinates to evil infant boy. He said, "Help me teleport." That spatial coordinates came from Ji Yao of the Ji family. Ji Yao had given them last time he talked in secret on Seven Spirits Islands. Ji Yao hoped to form a close relationship with him. He came from the extreme flame abyss to evil infant island because he wanted to find Ji Yao for a discussion through this teleportation formation. "Our teleportation formation has only connected to the Nether Continent. We have not tried any others." "I worry." The evil infant boy hesitated. "Just activate it. Do not worry about anything else. Even if you throw me into the void, I can return." Qianlai laughed. Possessing the Star Door latent ability from the eight-eyed demon spirit's bloodline, he did not fear anything that would occur in the teleportation process. He did not worry about being thrown into the desolate unknown and void. He could find his soul beacons and easily return. He didn't have to worry at all. Seeing him so confident, the evil infant boy hesitated for only a short while and agreed to open the teleportation formation. Qianlai immediately approached the center of the enormous teleportation formation. Before the evil infant boy activated the teleportation formation, he told the spatial coordinates of this teleportation formation using a secret soul art for Qianlai to remember. Qianlai nodded and indicated for him to not delay and start as soon as possible. The evil infant boy activated the teleportation formation. Countless beautiful white lines of light covered Qianlai. After a burst of spinning, Qianlai's figure disappeared from evil infant island. It seemed to only be one moment or 100,000 years. Qianlai appeared in an ancient palace with slight bewilderment. There were many copper blades, metal artifacts, and strange totems around the palace. The place he stood was the center of the palace. The floor under his feet covered in mysterious spirit lines. Those spirit lines formed a spiderweb. This was a complex spirit diagram that contained the rules of the universe. "Who are you?" A beautiful matron dressed in ancient robes sat at a corner of the palace and seemed to be inhaling the spirit energy of the world. She saw Qin Lai suddenly arrive and appeared very shocked. She examined Qin Lai carefully to ascertain his identity. "This is the Ji family of Central World?" Qin family asked. The lady in ancient robes nodded and said, "This is ninth of the Ji family's teleportation formations. Only people who are closely connected to the Ji family will know the coordinates of this teleportation formation." Ninth? Qin Lai was shocked. Right now, Flaming Sun Island only had the one newly built super-large teleportation formation, and the evil infant boy was clearly not confident in it. He knew that Song Tingyu had almost used a third of the spirit materials Flaming Sun Island stored to create this super-large teleportation formation. With Flaming Sun Island's wealth, they still had a difficult time building a super-large teleportation formation. The Ji family had at least 9 of the super-large teleportation formations. He immediately realized that Flaming Sun Island's wealth was most likely far from the resources of gold rank forces of Central World. Elder Ji Yao told me the spatial coordinates of this teleportation formation. He told me to come if I had urgent matters, Qin Lai said honestly. The lady in ancient robes heard him say this and her expression shifted. She suddenly said, "You are Qin Lai." Her eyes were full of suspicion, her eyebrows slightly raised as though she felt it was incomprehensible. "Have you seen me before?" Qin Lai grinned. The matron snorted and said directly, "Yes, I have a terrible impression of you." Rubbing his nose, Qin Lai felt extremely awkward. He said, "The past is the past. I hope that the incident 3 centuries ago really changed you. Otherwise..." The matron looked at him and did not continue. Qin Lai knew her next words would not be pleasing. He could only grimace and maintain his silence. "Wait a while, I have already messaged my big brother. He will come soon." The matron thought for a moment and said, "Stay in this place and do not leave so other people do not see you." So cautious. Qin Lai was shocked. He still wanted to tour the Ji family and see how magnificent the Ji family, the most ancient in the Central World, was. He had not expected the matron to not allow him to leave the ancient palace. "The people from the 6 forces are at the Ji family," the beautiful matron said coolly. When she said this, Qin Lai's face extremely darkened, and killing intent rose in his eyes. "What are they doing at your place?" Qin Lai's face looked dark. He was angered by the 6 great forces' arrival. The Blaze family blood in his veins burned in reaction to his emotions, turning his eyes scarlet and his long hair as red as blood. The beautiful woman dressed in traditional clothes stared at him in surprise. She said, "Big brother was right. The god race bloodline in your body has finally awakened after 300 years. Qin Lai smiled in self-derision. "It wouldn't have if it wasn't for them." The woman nodded once before saying, "In that case, shouldn't you be grateful to them?" "Oh yes." Qin Lai's lips split open into a cold, terrible grin. "I'm very grateful for their help. I guarantee you that I'll repay their kindness in my own way one day. Even that is in the future. For now, you should stay here and do nothing." The woman hesitated for a moment before adding, "Their coming has something to do with the Qin family?" Qin Lai was caught off guard. "What do you mean? Didn't your grandfather contact you about this? Didn't you know what's going on as of late?" the woman exclaimed. Qin Lai shook his head in response. "I wasn't in spirit realm as of late. That is for the best. You really shouldn't hang around spirit realm." "Why's that?" "The 6 great forces are attacking the Qin family. The Qin family possesses many domains, secret realms, and bases in certain asteroids, and they were all attacked by the 6 great forces. I heard that the Qin family had decided to endure the beating for the moment and hide until an opportune time presents itself. The Qin family has kept a very low profile, but that didn't mean the 6 great forces aren't aware of their true strength. Their anxiety had prompted them to take action." A pause later, the woman continued, "The fact that the god race is about to arrive only made things worse." Qin Lai furrowed his eyebrows when he heard this. It was at this moment Ji Yao showed up hurriedly. The moment he came into the room, He immediately glared at Qianlai and yelled, "Why have you come here at such a sensitive time? Am I not welcomed?" Qianlai replied in a very provocative tone. Jiao looked a little embarrassed. He knew that he sounded less friendly he should be, but that was because he was high-strung from all that was going on right now. He hastily explained himself, "Of course you're welcomed. It's just that you've shown up at the exact same time as the 6 great forces. So, if the Ji family deems my presence inconvenient, I can turn around and leave right away." Qianlai snorted coldly. The arrival of the 6 great forces had already put him in a bad mood to begin with. He didn't like that the Ji family seemed to have dealings with the 6 great forces. His displeasure had only increased after Ji Yao showed up and questioned his arrival. It was to the point where he felt like throwing the crisis that was about to befall Spirit Realm to the back of his mind. "Your temper is still nearly as bad as it was before." The woman sighed. Qianlai said with an unhappy look on his face, "I thought the Ji family isn't on the 6 great forces side. But we really are not on the same side." Ji Yao hurriedly clarified his position. "Look, I'll be honest with you. Do you remember the time I gave you the star map? The reason the 6 great forces are here is because they suspect that we're involved with their failings at Baluo Realm. These people are here to interrogate us, not be friends with us. Also, we've leaked some intel to the Qin family lately, which made them grow more and more unhappy with us." After hearing Ji Yao's explanation, Qianlai forced his anger down slightly and calmed down over time. Ji Yao waited until he was sure Qianlai had calmed down before asking, "I know that you've come for something. Tell me, why have you come to the Ji family today?" Qianlai looked at the duo quietly for a while before answering, "Can I trust you?" Ji Yao immediately declared his stance by swearing an ancient oath of the Ji family. Qianlai turned to look at the woman beside Ji Yao. She said indifferently, "Say it if you think that we're trustworthy." Qianlai pondered for a moment before saying, "Let me take you somewhere." "Where?" Ji Yao asked in astonishment. "You'll know once you arrive there." Qianlai humphed. "Sure, why not?" Ji Yao nodded. "Activate your teleportation formation and set the target destination to the land of chaos. Once we're there, I'll take you to the new place I want to show you from there." Qianlai said. "All right." Ji Yao nodded at the woman dressed in traditional clothes. The woman quietly made a complex hand seal before pressing a palm at the secret ancient diagram at the center of the ancient hall. In an instant, the ancient hall was enveloped in rainbow light. Ji Yao and Qianlai entered the teleportation formation first. The woman hesitated for a second before following behind them. The teleportation formation teleported them to a new location. A moment of vertigo later, the trio arrived at the super-large teleportation formation that had just been built at Evil Infant Island. "Come with me." Qianlai didn't pause to chat with Evil Infant Boy or the martial practitioners around them. Instead, he led Ji Yao and the woman straight towards Soul Summoning Island. At the same time, he ordered Zhuang Jing to leave Baluo Realm and head to Soul Summoning Island right now. What is he planning to do? The woman thought to herself. She had a few complaints to offer about this little trip. It wasn't like Qianlai had left her a favorable impression 300 years ago. Even today, his awakened bloodline was the only reason she was curious about him. Besides that, she didn't know too much about Qianlai. She didn't know how different Qianlai was now compared to 300 years ago. Ji Yao did praise Qianlai many times after he returned home. He claimed that Qianlai wasn't just a completely different person compared to 300 years ago. He was even looking a little like Qin Hao in both appearance and ability. She had never fully trusted Ji Yao's claims. It was with this doubt she arrived at Soul Summoning Island with Ji Yao. She planned to see what kind of plan Qianlai had in store for them. "Let's do it here." Qianlai stopped at Soul Summoning Island before activating the 8-eyed demon spirit's bloodline and opening a star door. Both Ji Yao and the woman were caught off guard when they saw the creation of the star door and its destination. It seemed to be leading towards an unfamiliar place that seemed to be covered in flames. Qianlai made a "after you" gesture. Ji Yao and the woman exchanged a look of surprise with each other. A moment of hesitation later, Ji Yao took the initiative and went in first. "Don't worry. I'm not stupid enough to hurt you too. Not to mention that you aren't my enemies." Qin Lai told the woman. You wouldn't dare even if you could, she replied with a soft snort before darting through the star door. Qin Lai was the final person to pass through the dimensional portal. Master! The 6th-level soul altar expert Curtis was currently guarding the extreme flame abyss. The Azura clansman immediately saluted Qin Lai respectfully the moment he came out. Qin Lai waved him down before looking at the stunned Ji Yao and the woman, saying, This is the extreme flame abyss, a single level in the world that is the abyss. 3 rank 10 great lords of the abyss live in this place, and their strength are comparable to that of a rank 10 god race expert. Right now, the Blaze family is fighting the abyss devils in different corners of the extreme flame abyss. The Light family, Darkness family, Bloodthirst family, and Profound Ice family of the god race are about done conquering their respective abyss levels. They've almost accumulated enough refined flesh and blood energy. It won't be long before all 5 great families invade Spirit Realm at the same time. It won't be the same as 30,000 years ago, where only 2 of the 5 families had invaded. What? Ji Yao turned pale as he exclaimed in shock. Both his eyes were filled with deep fear. Even the woman had turned pale with fright.